In this game, everything is trying to kill you, and there are no respawns. And this was my first time playing, so the question is, how long can I survive? But will the weather, the monsters, the lack of food, and the lack of sanity be too much for me? Welcome to 200 Days of Don't Starve, the movie. I chose to be Wilson, the gentleman scientist, as all the other characters were locked. Grows a magnificent beard. Perfect.
Say, pal, you don't look so good. You'd better find something to eat before night comes. Who was that lanky fella?
Some things you should know: I played on default settings with no DLC added, and this was my first day of the game ever, and this game really does not hold your hand, so I was clueless and kind of terrified, to be honest. I collected some flowers, grass, and twigs before figuring out I could rotate the screen. Also, I was loving the art style. I grabbed this flint and found I was able to use it plus some twigs to craft an axe. I cut down this pine tree, which yielded me 3 logs and 2 pine cones. I continued collecting a carrot, some berries, and a seed, and this berry bush held a wonderful surprise.
What the heck is this? It's a bush turkey. Alright, I can make a campfire. Can make a torch.
I had 3 status icons up on the top right. One for hunger, one for health, and one for brain, apparently. I later learned this one measured sanity, because this spooky world definitely gets to you.
I don't really know what I should be doing.
I made the incredibly wise decision to whack this beehive with my axe.
Ow! I think I made a mistake attacking the... Run! I made a mistake. Show mercy, bees.
Night fell, so I decided to set up a campfire.
My brain is decreasing. There's a little arrow there. What does it mean?
It means my sanity was draining, which is what happens at night. I ate a couple of berries, which provided a tiny amount of nourishment, and I discovered the map. It looks like this world is rather huge. I acquainted myself with the crafting menu a little and made myself a pickaxe with twigs and flint, and a trap with twigs and grass. I set the trap up over here. And for some reason, I wandered away from my campfire.
Oh, it's very dark. Why is it so dark? Hello? What the? Retry? What the hell? Oh, okay, so you... I don't get a respawn. I didn't know it was gonna go pitch black. Alright, Lanky McGee, yeah, I know. Oh, I'm near water this time. Now I know this is a section of the night where I have to stay by my campfire, I guess. I love the animation of the water there, that's sick. Alright, let's try that again.
So there's a couple of key lessons learned. Watch out for the dark part of night, because there are dangers lurking, and if I die, I have to restart completely. Brutal. By the way, on the bottom left of the screen, you can see my total days played, and up on the top right, you can see the in-game counter of the days in this current attempt. Hopefully this time I'll survive more than 1 day.
So I guess it's wise to just collect lots of.
That was my philosophy, so that's what I did. As night fell, I placed down a campfire and continued hoovering up this biome's bounty. And as pure darkness arrived, I worked out I could add more logs to the fire.
Alright, what else can we do? We can make a grass suit. I can make a garland. Something to soothe the nerves. So does that help with stress or what? I still don't know what this is exactly.
This garland does indeed make me feel pretty, and during daylight hours it slowly improves my sanity. As day 2 dawned, I made myself a spare axe and a pickaxe, as well as a couple of traps which I placed.
I have no idea if those are good places to set traps.
Spoiler alert, those are terrible places to set traps. I noticed I could see them on the map, so that was handy as it means they'll be easy to find. They will inevitably be empty, but still, it's good news.
What I really need is some rocks and gold nugget for science so they can unlock some more stuff. I found better you than me. True. Alright, there's rocks.
It's unfortunate this fella got his entire head stuck in the ground, but I'll take some freebies any day. I wandered into this savanna biome that had a bunch of rabbits and rabbit holes, and my first rock. It yielded me niter, rocks, and flint. I found another deceased fella up here, so I yoinked his puffy vest.
Oh, those guys look... Look at the stacked pigs. Pig torch. It's like a tiki kind of shenanigans. Yeah, I'm not going over there because they look like they'll fight me.
I also found these beefalo, which didn't seem to be aggressive, although they did poop a lot.
Something resembling a weird ritual over here. I think I avoid touching that for the time being.
As you can tell, I was a little bit scared. My assumption was that everything was gonna kill me, and so when I spotted these spiders, I immediately swerved. I set up a campfire and chopped down a bunch of trees to ensure I had plenty of fuel for the fire, and as true darkness fell, I continued investigating my crafting options. And I was suitably overwhelmed. Don't Starve is deceptively simple, with a whole depth of shenanigans to unravel.
There's a green bar that's decreasing. Is that like the rottenness of the food?
It is indeed. Organic matter doesn't last forever in this game, it eventually spoils. I collected my pointless traps and then wandered north a bit where I found this rocky biome.
This one looks like it's got gold. What is that? Leave me alone, eyeball.
Finally, I had gold. I immediately placed down a science machine, and it said it breaks down objects into their scientific components. And so I stood there like a goose trying to give it items, which did not work. It took me until nighttime to finally figure it out.
Oh, hang on. Oh, it's when I go near it.
Proximity to this machine allows you to craft various prototypes, which once crafted are then available to craft ongoing, even when you're not next to the machine. I crafted a shovel and a backpack, which gave me an additional 8 sorely needed inventory slots. I also made my first wooden boards out of 4 logs. I collected what I could in range of the fire and spent some time organizing my inventory. As I was chopping down some trees on the morning of day 4, something outrageous happened.
Oh, what the? No. What are you, big fella? Why is there an ant? Treebeard. I didn't know. Treebeard. I didn't know.
Treebeard seemed determined to whack me with his loggy paw, but fortunately for me he was rather slow, so I kept my distance and continued collecting goodies.
Oh gosh. Go fight Treebeard. Fight Treebeard, you weirdo.
I ran back to base and made 2 more boards, and I used my 3 boards to make my first storage chest. I chopped trees until dark, and Treebeard didn't reappear, so I can only assume he lost interest, and maybe started doing ballet with that tall eyeball back in the rocky biome. I made myself a fire pit, a permanent and more efficient fixture compared to the little campfires I'd used the last few nights. As I ate my last carrot, I decided I'd better figure out a better food solution, as I'd foraged most of what the surrounding area had to offer. I discovered I could make farms using manure, so I resolved to go collect some poop on the morrow. I made myself some rope out of grass and used it to craft my first spear. I dumped some stuff in the chest, and on day 5 I discovered many of the bushes had grown more berries, which was wonderful news, and I headed down to the savannah in search of poop. On the way there I placed my traps near the rabbit holes in hopes of snaring me a coney. I tracked down the beefalo herd and stole their 7 piles of manure, and on the way back to base I discovered one of my traps had sprung and I'd caught my first rabbit.
Okay, hopefully we catch more rabbits. If I scroll over this, it just says click to murder the rabbit. Fair enough.
I chopped down some trees, and when I got back home I made a basic farm, which cost a bunch of grass and logs as well as 4 of the manure. I immediately planted a single seed in it, and it didn't seem to need watering, so I let it do its thing. I then stood around like a goose looking at my crafting options again. I collected more rocks and gold on day 6, and as you can see I kept a few crafting materials handy in my bags so I could make things like tools while on the move.
Gnome? I'm gonna die right now. Box thing. What is this? Looks like an offering to the beast. Okay. I'm not sure what that means.
None of these strange finds killed me, which was honestly surprising, but I had no idea what any of it meant. With no idea what else I could do, I collected the day away, and when I got back I discovered a use for my shovel, uprooting these saplings and tree stumps. I also planted a few pine cones, so I now had a renewable log source right next to my camp. In the morning I planted some grass and saplings too, and expanded my tree lines a bit. I noticed my berries were now stale, so I ate them all before they got any worse, and I suddenly found myself completely without food.
Alright, I desperately need food. The days are getting longer. Anyone notice that?
By the way, the days are only 8 minutes long in this game, with varying day and night lengths depending on the time of year. As you can see, the days had gotten longer and the nights shorter since the beginning of the playthrough, so I guess it was getting close to high summer. I managed to find some berries and carrots, I collected 2 rabbits for my traps, and I went on another poop hunt. I also managed to anger this talking pig.
Ow.
On the way home, I ate all the berries and carrots I'd found, so it was really a case of 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And when I got home, I found my friend had returned.
Except that guy's chilling near my base again. Will he be my friend if I don't bother him?
He seemed to ignore me for now, which was great news. I harvested this corn and replanted another seed. I uprooted and replanted a bunch of grass and berry bushes on day 8, as I figured they'd regrow close to home and save me some running around. I also collected more logs, which I used to make some boards. And I made some cut stone from rocks and used these materials to make an alchemy machine.
Yeah, let's go. And with that, I should be able to make an improved farm. Let's go. Improved farm can go here. Ah, yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
I planted a seed, and I guess this one will grow faster than the basic farm. I then took a better look at my food processing options.
B-box drying rack. The jerkiest of racks. I need charcoal. How do I get charcoal? Crockpot, make better food. How do I get charcoal?
I was stumped about the charcoal, and I was pretty stressed in general, so I didn't have much time to think about it. But one thing I was sure of was my dire food situation.
Oh, I can cook. I can cook. Murder the rabbit. Cook it. Ah.
Yeah, it took me 10 days to figure out how to cook. Honestly, I have a feeling I just suck at survival games. It seems food cooked on the fire is a little bit more nutritious than when eaten raw, and my hunger woes were under control for the time being. I continued with my berry bush relocation scheme and collected a corn and pumpkin from my farms.
Cook a pumpkin? Cook a corn? Popcorn? Let's go. Here what? I'm on 97, I eat the popcorn. Okay, they only gave me 12. Pumpkin? Oh, that gave me heaps. What is that noise? What is that noise, dude?
Something sinister was taunting me, and I was not pleased. Wilson kept asking, "Did you hear that?" "Yes, Wilson, I hear it, and it's causing me to poop my pants."
Oh.
So the creepy noises belonged to these nightmare doggies. Fortunately, running around in circles like an idiot was an effective method of avoiding these hounds' attacks, but I eventually stood my ground.
Am I just dead? Oh, I killed one.
I whacked the other one to death with my spear too, but I lost about 2/3 of my health. They dropped some monster meat, which I immediately cooked and ate. It helped deal with my hunger, but it damaged my health and sanity. I looked into what I could do to restore health and discovered healing salves and honey poultices in the crafting menu, but I needed ash, spider glands, honey, and papyrus, and that's basically a shopping list of stuff I had no clue how to get.
You trying to fight me again? He's friendly. Are you friendly?
I cooked some more popcorn and ate it, which restored a little bit of health, so that was a start. I headed out collecting, dug up a bunch more saplings and berry bushes, and found a trapped rabbit.
Wormhole? What the hell? I don't want to jump in wormhole just yet. I'm too scared.
The wormhole is kind of like a butthole with teeth, so I think it's fair that I was fearful. When I arrived back at base, I cooked the 2 berries and rabbits I'd caught and restored a little more health. I paid the local spider egg a visit and kited these 2 spiders around, whacking them in the face, and despite taking 1 hit, I was pretty sure I could fight these without ever taking damage if I played it properly. They dropped me a spider gland and a web. I made another trap and placed it, collected another rabbit, and then grabbed the random ring thing from this creepy circle. I also picked up all the evil flowers, and I somehow didn't realize that each one I picked did damage to my health and sanity. And apparently my sanity got low enough that I began seeing things.
What is this? You see that? There it is again. Look at them. Is that what appears at the night in the... Look!
I collected some more poop, witnessed a rabbit being caught in one of my traps, and collected flowers until I had enough to make another garland, as my old one had wilted away. And each flower also restores some sanity on pickup, which I'm not sure I actually realized at this point, but it definitely helped. I arrived home to an eggplant. I cooked and ate some green mushrooms I'd found, and these did damage to me but restored some sanity, and I cooked the eggplant to eat, which restored a decent chunk of HP. I collected a bunch of grass so that I could make myself another improved farm, and there was quite a storm, so I decided to make a lightning rod out of 1 cut stone and 3 gold nuggets. The tooltip said protection from strikes, so it seemed wise to whack one down.
Is this grass gonna grow, or have I just done a silly willy?
I had done a big silly willy. The grass does not grow when replanted until you whack some manure on to fertilize it. The saplings and trees do regrow though, so not all my planting was a waste of time. I made a razor and shaved my beard off, which was honestly a mistake because it was looking quite glorious.
3 beard hairs. Got some beard hairs, baby.
I spent the rest of the night chopping down trees. I made myself another chest and cleared my bags a bit, and was then visited by another tree friend.
Oh, come off it.
Yeah, so in this game, when you cut a tree, there's a small chance a nearby tree will become animated and seek revenge. As I fled the furious tree, I stumbled upon another horror of the forest.
What the hell's this? What the... What is this?
I love how Wilson said go for the eyes when I poked the singular eye plant. It's good stuff.
Why are there eyeballs here? I'm so confused. Come on, spiders. Come fight me. Let's go.
I collected my second spider web and returned home to a harvest, which helped deal with a solid chunk of hunger. I'd failed to lose the big old tree though, so he lumbered back over to try and whack me.
Oh! Terrifying. He's gonna knock me out of this planet. If I dodge him, and then go in for the attack.
My fighting skills were elite, nobody can deny. But who knows how much health this big buffer has. I must have hit him about 20 times, first with my axe before moving onto a spear, and by the time morning came, I gave up.
I don't think I'm doing any damage to him. What am I doing with my life?
I then got in a fight with a bee and immediately regretted it.
Ow.
I collected from my traps and headed off to collect some more manure, as farms were basically the only strategy I had going for me.
Oh, why are you angry? Why are you angry? Why are you angry? You got a red bum. Is that why you're angry? Because you got a red bum?
I would be angry if I had a red bum. And have you met a baboon recently? Famously irritable creatures. Like the video and subscribe if you're sympathetic to the plight of red bum sufferers. Since my attempts to steal manure were thwarted by the curse of the crimson buttocks, I opted to place a couple more traps and see if I could lean on rabbits as a food source a bit more. It seemed I'd finally lost aggro from Treebeard number 2, so I wandered back home.
I think I'm screwed though, you know? I think I don't have enough to keep surviving. Why are my berries never growing? It needs to be fertilized. Are you kidding me?
After that painful realization, I harvested some corn, popped it and ate it, then murdered and ate a couple of rabbits as well. I used the 2 spider's webs I'd acquired to craft a fishing rod, and strode forth with hope that perhaps fish would solve my food scarcity woes.
Can I fish? How do I fish?
I was expecting I could just cast into any body of water, like in most other games. Apparently not. To illustrate how sad this made me, I stupidly transplanted this berry bush, even though I knew full well I lacked the manure to fertilize it due to the red bum situation. I had no idea what the heck I was doing, let's be honest.
No, where's the big fella back? He's trying to fight me still? He's been chasing me this whole time. How do I deal with this idiot?
You can hear how stressed I was, it's quite hilarious.
And why couldn't I fish? Oh!
I spent the whole night fighting the leafy dingus, and just as day 15 dawned, I copped a donk. Ow! I survived on 12 HP and took that as a sign to flee in terror. Honestly, I wanted to give up, so I had to collect myself.
I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet.
Honestly, I'm so brave, it's beautiful to see. I spent the day collecting rabbits and attempting to scare rabbits into traps, except this rabbit is a ninja. And when I returned, I had a couple of veggies ready, so I just barely stayed on top of my hunger for yet another day. By the next day, I was pretty hungry yet again, and still nearly dead, but at least I was fairly sane thanks to the beautiful garland atop my head. I struck out west and found some berries. I also collected twigs and grass as I was getting low. I collected a few rabbits and placed another trap too.
Come on, straight into the trap. Yes. Beautiful.
I arrived home with 4 rabbits and 3 berries and found I had grown some veggies too. I cooked all of it on the fire and then ate literally all of it and filled my belly for once. It also restored a modest chunk of HP. Those saplings I planted ages ago had grown, so I collected a bunch of twigs, and on day 17 I collected some grass, killed 6 spiders without taking any damage like a pro, and collected 5 rabbits from traps. I placed down 2 more traps as well. When I got home I ate all the rabbits, so it was yet another day of completely failing to stockpile any food. I made myself a pitchfork just to see what it does. It let me pick up the forest turf, which I immediately put back down. I'm not sure what that's useful for, but why not? A dragon fruit and some corn grew overnight, so I cooked those and then headed out collecting wood.
Ah! Oh, the angry ones appeared.
I wanted to farm spiders for webs and glands, but I didn't know these ferocious yellow spiders would join the chase, so I fled.
Oh, I made a mistake.
I collected grass and rabbits, and I managed to collect 3 manure too, as the beefalo appeared to have recovered from the red bumness. I then summed up the state of affairs quite nicely.
I'm having a rough time of it, man. It's a combination of you're supposed to have a rough time of it, like that's the nature of the game, and I'm just bad.
I also saw the tree fighting the eyeballs on the way home. I ate my rabbits, made my 4th farm, and then was assaulted by a combination of terrifying noises.
Oh no. Why is it? Oh no. Are you kidding me with that? That is like nightmare fuel. And the creepy music. Whew.
I was in no condition to fight, so I led the hounds on a merry chase.
Come fight the tree. Don't fight the eyeball tree. Fight the dogs. I'm dead. I'm so dead. Yes! The tree's fighting them! Saved by the tree. Hound's tooth. How am I not dead yet, man? Honestly.
I stepped onto the spider web, and this spawned 3 of the easy spiders, and then I did what was now the usual, collecting rabbits and manure. I also finally dared to explore a little more of the map, which revealed that the savannah is indeed large. After cooking and eating, I actually had 4 cooked morsels left over. Absolutely revolutionary. My garland had wilted, so I made myself a straw hat in hopes it would restore my sanity. It did not. And so after building farm number 5, I headed out in search of flowers to restore my sanity and make another garland. And I of course collected rabbits and manure. manure. That night, after eating what I needed for dinner, I had a whopping 7 morsels left over. Instead of a garland, I made myself a pretty parasol, as it cost half as many flowers. And once day 21 dawned, I found holding it was slowly increasing my sanity, so that was a win. I made myself a net using twigs, spiderweb, and rope, and then enraged a bunch of bees. I took a bit of damage, but managed to catch one of the killer bees.
Alright, I got a killer bee now. I don't know, dude.
I noticed the color of everything had shifted, so I wondered if perhaps it was coming into winter.
Whoa! What on earth? Penguins! They're just... Okay. I shouldn't have attacked the penguins. Alright, so I'm lucky I fixed that altar because that gave me a resurrection. Otherwise I was gone. Okay, I'm frosty.
So I don't know what came over me, but I probably shouldn't have assaulted that penguin. I had no idea that altar thinger was going to resurrect me, but it was now broken, so I had wasted my 1 respawn over the impulse for penguin abuse.
Are you penguins still angry at me? It was a mistake to attack you.
Fortunately, all my stuff was available to regather. And to be honest, getting shanked by a penguin was much needed comic relief from the stress of this game.
Whew. That's so funny.
I harvested my first durian and replanted, and then I chopped down trees to replenish my log supply. Later in the day, it began to snow.
So I guess it's winter, if that wasn't obvious. I think the days are going to get shorter and the nights longer.
That was indeed the case. Also, crops, berry bushes, and saplings do not grow in winter. Trees do, so that is at least something. But of course, I was now subject to the threat of freezing temperatures. I made this thermal stone, and I worked out if you hold it near the fire, it warms up and retains the heat for a short time, which helped me resist the cold.
More penguins. I'm not gonna fight you, alright? Just chill. I come in peace.
Fortunately, rabbits still do their thing in winter, so I had one remaining food source. And on the way home, I learned what happens if you get too cold.
Oh dear. Now I'm losing health. How fast am I losing health? Oh, I'm losing health so fast.
I made it home with 26 health to spare and cooked my 10 rabbits. So my hunger was okay for now, but my HP and sanity were looking grim. My parasol had broken by this point, and I didn't know where there were any more flowers. And flowers were the only thing I knew restored sanity. So that was bad news. As I was investigating how to make some warm clothing, I was visited by some more creepy music.
Breezy vest, Colophant trunk. Oh no. It's this weirdo. It's gonna steal my flames again. Too late, nerd. What's this rabbit? Black? What?
So the one rabbit I forgot to cook earlier turned into this weird demon rabbit, which gave me monster meat when cooked. At the time, I had no idea why this was happening, but I later figured out this is what happens when you have low sanity. So now my one food source had turned demonic thanks to my insanity. Troubles upon troubles. I made a torch and lit this tree on fire because I was keen to figure out how to get charcoal.
There we go. Okay, we're onto something here.
I really should have experimented with pyromania earlier because charcoal would have been useful 20 days ago, but it's a learning experience. I got ashes from burning down a sapling too. Once I'd collected enough charcoal, I cut some stone and made a crock pot, and discovered this cooks 4 ingredients at a time. But I had precisely 0 ingredients on me at this point. I also made a drying rack out of 2 charcoal, some rope and twigs, but again I had precisely 0 things to dry at this point.
I think I'm screwed. Oh, my sanity went up. How did my sanity go up? It was lower than 96, right?
It had been, and it went up because I'd made the crock pot and drying rack, as every time you unlock a new item, you restore sanity.
Oh man, get out of here. Stop with your shadows.
I finally made a log suit of armor. This goes in the body slot, so when I equipped it, the backpack dropped on the ground. I killed a few spiders and collected rabbits, and I found they were still nightmare rabbits. I murdered a few, and they gave me nightmare fuel and monster meat rather than meat.
I'm screwed.
One of them even gave me beard hair when I murdered it.
Gave me beard hair?
So as far as I knew, I had no way to deal with my hunger anymore. No way to restore my sanity, although I definitely could have roamed further and found more flowers, or unlocked some new items, but I didn't know that at this point. I had one spider gland that I ate for some minor HP regen, but that was about it. I burned down my line of trees for more charcoal and made myself a boomerang, which restored a little bit of sanity, but not nearly enough. I took the boomerang with me and tried a last-ditch effort for food. Penguins. It didn't go well up close last time, but I hoped attacking from a distance would help.
Can I lure them away? What? What just killed me? What just killed me? I just threw... I'm like 20 meters away from the penguin. Oh no.
As you can tell, I didn't understand how I died, but in the instant replay, you can see I got whacked in the face by my own boomerang. So I guess I was supposed to catch that with my hands and not my teeth.
Okay, well, I unlocked some new characters. The fire starter. Immune to fire damage, has a sweet lighter, lights fires when nervous. The strongman grows stronger with a full belly, is afraid of monsters and the dark. Same.
The strong man needed a full belly to benefit from his unique perks, and I am quite famous for never having a full belly in this game. So I figured I'd have a crack as Willow, the little girl pyromaniac. Honestly, I felt pretty proud I'd made it to winter, and I'd learned a lot, so I felt surely I could do better this time. I set out exploring and collecting. I avoided immediately picking flowers this time, as now I knew they gave 5 sanity on pickup, so I left them until I actually needed to replenish sanity. On the first night, I used my trusty lighter to burn some stuff and get some ash, and I cooked my berries before eating them. A great start compared to last time. My plan for this attempt was to set up camp near Beefalo so that I had manure available, and so I could lure monsters to the Beefalo if necessary. I placed down 3 traps on this little savanna, and then decided to test out this wormhole that was near my spawn.
What does the wormhole butthole do? I'm way over here. Alright, I don't think I lost anything. Maybe some sanity?
So there was no real reason to fear the wormholes. In fact, they're a great way to move huge distances. There was a big savanna on the other end, and also this rocky biome, which I picked clean on day 2. And that night I had a wonderful realization.
Her sanity's going up, even though it's nighttime, because she loves fire. That is OP. Alright, I should be fine for sanity then.
This was indeed good news for my sanity management, and I need all the help I can get, so I was happy. My hunt for beefalo continued on day 3, and considering there were huge savannas to explore, I thought for sure I'd find them soon enough.
Go away, eyeball weirdo. Walk to walrus camp. I'm not going in there, yuck. What is a walrus camp? Come out in winter, I guess.
I collected as I explored, and soon enough I'd explored way more of the map than I did last go round. But unlucky for me, these 2 rather large savannas somehow had 0 beefalo.
Still no beefalo.
I kept exploring and getting distracted by stuff to collect, of course, and I soon found something new.
A weirdo and a bunch of weirdo-ness. What the hell? Well, I'm not going over there. Look at all these weirdos.
I headed back through the wormhole and struck out northwest, and I discovered this flowery biome with a bunch of beehives.
Wait, what? Why did you burn that? Is that just something she does sometimes?
Yes, sometimes she just burns stuff. What a legend. That night I said some choice words by the campfire.
How have I not found beefalo? It's almost day 5. What am I doing? Where are beefalo? Where are beefalo? Missing in action. I want manure.
I did at least collect tons of resources in my search for another savanna. I had a whopping 24 carrots at this point. I stumbled upon another wormhole, so I figured why not, and on the other side was a swamp with a random abandoned farm area in the middle of it.
Holy crap.
And there were big floppy tentacles. I planted seeds in the 3 farms because why not, but I decided to bail back through the wormhole because the tentacles made me poop my pants. My sanity had dropped considerably, confirming my suspicion that the wormhole troubles the mind. So I picked flowers until I stopped seeing these shadow monsters. I also spontaneously burned some stuff, which is always a bonus. I found this froggy pond area and then this plugged sinkhole, which I unplugged with my pickaxe, and I accidentally spelunked. This generated an entirely new cave area, so presumably it's huge down here, but I immediately left as I figured I'd come back and give it a look-see once I actually had a base camp. I actually regret not giving it a proper explore, but as I said, I was terrified of everything, so a dark cave wasn't exactly inviting. I found yet another wormhole, and this one took me up north to this forest area featuring some graves, pigs, and spiders. I spent the night and took stock of the map while I awaited dawn.
Oh, there's an epic battle going on. Epic battle between pigs and spiders.
And after a quick look around, I decided to head back through the wormhole where I found this graveyard area. I began to doubt my earlier exploration efforts, so I wormholed back to the big savannas and gave them another look. Turns out I shouldn't have doubted myself because there were indeed no beefalos here, so I just wasted another day. I found yet another wormhole, so I headed through it, but I found no savanna.
Savannah. Savannah. Maxwell's door. What? If you died during adventure mode, you will return back to this portal where you may restart the adventure. You're about to step into a long, arduous journey to find Maxwell. You will need to survive 5 worlds, each randomly generated to present a new challenge. Okay. Not yet.
So I can't find a savannah to save my life, but I found Maxwell's door at least. I have no idea where that leads, but it sounds terrifying. I cooked 7 of my carrots to eat that night, and I still had 21 left over, so at least I wasn't starving. But seriously, those beefalo are elusive. I headed back through the wormhole and topped up my food supply a bit more, before finding this eye bone, the greatest find of all time.
What are you? What?
Chester goes where the eye bone goes, and he had 9 inventory slots. What a cute and glorious find. I also found this shipwreck with a parrot, but I had no idea what that was about.
You might as well carry some stuff, right? I hope the Chester can't die. I'll cry if Chester dies.
I had honestly been close to giving up and restarting, but upon finding Chester, I knew I had to persevere with this attempt. I went back through that wormhole from earlier and harvested my 3 crops, and just as I began to hear the hounds baying, I finally found another savannah. I found one of these touchstones too, which I quickly repaired, so I now had 1 respawn up my sleeve, and before long I had 2 hounds chasing me. Luckily it happened to be a full moon, so I didn't have to deal with complete darkness. But the hounds were trying to eat Chester, which was highly offensive.
Oh, they got him. Run!
I fled deeper into the savannah, and as day 10 dawned, I finally found my reward.
Beefalo! Yes! Fight them, beefalo. Fight them! What are you doing? Yes! Yes!
We finally found beefalo.
That is the saga of the beefalo, if I've ever seen one.
I think this savannah stole all the beefalos in the universe because there were a lot down here. I began collecting manure before setting up a fire and cooking all my carrots and eating a bunch. I continued collecting manure on day 11 and ended up with a stack of 40 before deciding to reposition my camp further north so I was a bit closer to the other biomes and their resources, but still relatively close to my beefalo pals. I set up my science machine, made my first boards and whacked down a chest, planted some pine trees, crafted and placed 6 traps, and collected logs, rocks, and some freebies from this deceased miner. That night I cooked all my berries, and then headed out with the daylight in search of trees. I chopped down a bunch and used my newly crafted shovel to spoon out the stumps, and I burned a few down for charcoal too. I ended up quite far north, so I set up a temporary camp for the night. Unfortunately, my entire stack of cooked berries went stale, so I needed to work towards new food quickly, but I needed stone for farms.
I think I built my base in a bad spot after all. I should have made it more central, maybe like here.
I wasn't going to restart my base again though, so it was what it was.
Burn! Burn!
I left those burning trees to collect on the way back and headed north. I continued collecting all the good stuff I stumbled across before heading back to base with a good haul. Fortunately, you run faster on the roads, and I deliberately built my base right next to the Savannah Road, so it wasn't the worst getting back there. I cut some stone and crafted some boards and made my alchemy machine, which I used to make my first 3 improved farms before running out of grass. I also made a crock pot, and fortunately the Savannah has an abundance of grass, which I collected, and I also planted tons of pine trees. Oh, the curse of the red butt was back, so my beefalo strategy was temporarily backfiring, but they only attack if you go quite close to them, so it wasn't so bad. I made a drying rack and put a rabbit morsel onto dry, and managed to get my farm count up to 5, and I harvested my first 3 crops at this base.
Let's cook this, surely it can't go wrong, right?
I whacked down farm number 6, and before long my meal was ready.
1 meatballs.
So that restored 62 points of hunger, pretty decent, and unlike food that is merely cooked on the fire, it also restored a bit of sanity, as well as a touch of health. I collected rabbits, grass and manure, and I planted some saplings I dug up on my earlier travels, and I placed a bunch more traps down.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 rabbit traps around my base, plus I've got 6 farms now, I want to say. My small jerky was ready on the drying rack, and I cooked 4 morsels, which also made a meal of meatballs, and I placed down my 7th farm. Some veggies were ready, so I tried cooking morsels with corn, and that made meatballs, and I tried cooking morsels with carrots, and that also made meatballs. Obviously, different combos of ingredients make different meals, but I guess if the dominant food is meat, I'm gonna get meatballs, which seemed good to me. Day 17 of this attempt was a day of chores around the base, collecting rabbits, cutting down and replanting the odd tree, collecting grass, and cooking more meatballs. Spiders are very noisy. Oh, I got a spider in there?
What? Apparently a spider wandered into my trap, earning me a spider gland. I made another chest to increase storage capacity, very nice, and then had a similar day to yesterday. I harvested a bunch of veggies and chucked them in the crock pot, and ended up with a new meal, stuffed eggplant.
Making it for my first spear on day like 7 million.
And so I had a good amount of food, a brand new spear, and a beefalo sleeping literally on top of my fire. Life was good. I tried to kill this pig, but he was legitimately a god gamer. He kept kiting me, making it impossible to land a hit. He eventually slipped up though, and I whacked him down and earned myself some pig skin. I really should have crafted log armor for the fight though, as I took a fair chunk of damage. I spent the day collecting, with an emphasis on digging up saplings so I could replant them near my base. I set up a temporary camp for the night, and I randomly got bothered by these bats.
Are you serious?
Fortunately, they sucked, so I killed them pretty easily.
Get out of here. Bat idiots.
I worked out later that these bats come out of the cave systems from the nearby unplugged sinkhole. I continued with my sapling collecting on day 20, and I also made the bold decision to dig up some graves. I dug up Gord's Knot, whatever that is, this ghost which chased me, and a tiny rocket ship.
Check out those tiny thrusters. What? Such explosive. Oh, what did I just get?
I headed home with 30 saplings in my bag, and once there I had a planting rampage. This spider bothered me, so I bonked it, which attracted the attention of 5 more spiders. I managed to kill them all, but I took a fair bit of damage. And once again, I'm not sure why I didn't have log armor handy. My food situation seemed under control, and I had renewable trees, twigs, and grass nearby. But I didn't really know what I should work towards next. I spied some interesting structures I could build, but the materials seemed tricky to acquire. As day 21 arrived, winter began to set in, so I figured shoring up my resources was the right choice anyway. And so I had a day of collecting rabbits and grass. I also had my last harvest before winter. That night, literally as it began to snow, I realized I did not have enough rocks for a thermal stone. I also hadn't managed to make any warm clothing, so I really was not ready to deal with the cold. And so I strode forth in search of rocks. I mined this boulder but only got 3 rocks, and I needed 4. And I stole these pig's flowers and made myself a garland to make sure I stayed sane. And then I headed through the butthole, because I could see some rocks on the map down this way. The cold set in, so I burned some stuff to keep warm, and I could hear the hounds baying again, which was really quite terrible timing.
Oh no, I'm gonna get attacked.
I finally made it to a boulder.
Oh, walruses. Are you guys friendly? Oh, you're not friendly. No!
In a game where just about everything is trying to kill you, I don't know why I had any hope they'd be friendly.
No. I don't know where my ladder is. What? I'm dead. I'm dead again.
Thankfully, the beefalo dealt with the hounds, but I had no fuel for the fire and I was beginning to freeze. I quickly grabbed some grass. Foolishly, I had most of my useful materials on me or Chester when I died.
What do I have? Oh, I got charcoal. I can probably use that as fuel. If I can somehow survive this winter, I will be thoroughly amazed.
I had flint for tools too, but I had absolutely no twigs, so I couldn't even craft an axe for tree chopping. I at least managed to cook a couple of meatballs with some rabbit meat. Fortunately, these 3 saplings just a short run from my base were untouched, so I got myself 3 twigs. But can 3 measly twigs carry the entire weight of a long winter? I was not optimistic. I used 1 twig to make an axe, then collected 2 trapped rabbits and made some rabbit earmuffs, using up a second twig. I figured these were surely good for resisting the cold a little. I made sure to take them off when I was next to the fire so they lasted as long as possible. I chopped some trees and collected rabbits, and when murdering said rabbits, as well as the usual rabbit scream, I heard this weird hissing noise. But I didn't pay too much attention to it.
I've just googled when winter ends. Day 36 is the last day of winter. I might be able to make it that long. My food does not decay very fast, I think, because it's cold. So that's good.
Food spoils twice as slowly, to be precise. I was worried about fuel for the fire though, as I only had a bit of charcoal and 1 or 2 axes worth of wood from trees. But then I made a handy realization.
Oh, I can burn manure.
A stinky fire is still a fire, and beefalo don't stop pooping just cause it's winter. And I had a couple of stacks handy in my chests, so maybe I had a chance at survival after all. I collected a bunch more rabbits, and once again as I murdered them, a weird hiss noise was heard.
I'm actually getting a decent food store. Am I gonna survive 11 days?
Winter sure did have long nights though.
I'm just sitting here like a dingus, man.
When murdering my day 26 rabbits, I finally paid attention to the weird hissing.
What is that noise, man?
And when murdering rabbits later in the day, I finally saw what the hissing was all about.
What is that thing? What is he doing? He just swung. Oh, he destroyed my trap. He destroyed my trap. What the heck is that? What is that thing? Okay, It jumped into its own sack and disappeared.
So I googled it, and apparently there is a hidden naughtiness meter in this game, and murdering rabbits adds to your naughtiness. When you hit a certain threshold, you begin to hear that hissing, and if you don't stop being naughty for a while, that weirdo will come. Apparently he destroys your buildings, so I got off lucky because I'm pretty sure all he destroyed was 1 or 2 of my traps. Day 27 was much the same, with the short daylight hours dedicated to rabbit collecting. I was up to 7 meatballs and a couple of small jerky, but my traps were beginning to break, and I had no twigs with which to build new ones.
Probably got like 2 or 3 more meatballs left in me. If I have 9 or 10 meatballs, can I survive 9 days?
And once it was fully dark, I made a terrible mistake.
I can't... Oh, are you kidding me? I can't put the thing on.
What? What? No!
I couldn't put fire... because it was pitch black, I guess. I should have added more fuel to it before he did that. It's so frustrating. I wonder if I would have lasted the winter. I wonder.
For some reason, I assumed I'd be able to whack more logs on as soon as the weird shadow hand stole my fire. But I was wrong. I was ready with the logs, but in the dark, it simply didn't let me. What a fail.
Bereaved is haunted by her twin sister, feels comfortable in the dark, doesn't hit very hard. The soulless automaton, not a picky eater, is charged by lightning but damaged by water, can upgrade with gears.
After googling exactly what these characters do, I opted to choose Wendy the Bereaved, because apparently the twin sister that haunts her fights for you, and I had proven myself a terrible fighter so far, so I figured that was the right choice for me. And here we go with attempt number 4. There was a touchstone right near spawn, so that was handy, but other than that, we've seen this all before.
Chop down some trees, cause I need wood. Wood is quite good. Yes, yes.
I found a random boomerang, checked through this toothy butthole to see what biomes were on the other end, and on day 2, I found beefalo.
Day 2 beefalo, everybody. The miracle of beefalo.
I quickly checked further west and discovered a flowery beehive biome, before heading back through the wormhole and collecting my fill of rocks, flint, and gold. I also found this crank thing, another random item I had no clue about. I set up camp just east of the beefalo, where I plonked down the usual, and I spent the night collecting logs. I had this flower in my inventory, by the way, and it had been slowly blossoming over the past few days.
The flower has now bloomed. It says Abigail is ready to play, but she needs some space. Interesting.
Obviously, this relates to my twin sister who haunts me, and I wasn't exactly sure what this meant, but I had an idea. I continued getting myself established, collecting poop and grass, setting some traps, and placing down my alchemy machine. I had my base down nice and early, but the trade-off was that I hadn't collected much food, so I went for a quick forage to top myself up and spent the night at this temporary camp. By the way, I really should have just made a torch and kept roaming during the complete dark with the torchlight to keep me safe, but for some reason I never worked this out. I kept the expedition going on day 5, collecting saplings, burning trees for charcoal, and grabbing anything else of interest. And I found I'd wandered to the other end of the wormhole near my base, so I took the shortcut home. I made 3 farms and cut myself some stone to make a crock pot, and made use of the morning light to plant a whole bunch of saplings. Grass was a limiting factor for both traps and farms, so I collected a whole bunch and got my 4th farm and a few more traps down. And that night I had my first harvest.
I want to see if I can get my sister to come out.
My theory was that the space my sister needed was something dead to inhabit, or something along those lines. So I wondered if I killed something, she'd appear. Killing these spiders didn't seem to work though. And I was desperately hungry, so I gave up waiting around for enough ingredients to use the crock pot and cooked my veggies on the fire instead. I then made a razor because for some reason I thought I'd be able to use it on the beefalo to shave off their fur. It didn't work. I cooked my first meatballs of this attempt, harvested some crops, and burned down some trees. That night some spiders from the nearby nest bothered me, so I slapped them.
You want to fight, man? I'll fight you.
I made a log suit, chopped down and replanted pine trees to replenish my log supply, and made myself another chest. I also implemented a rabbit murdering strategy, where I avoided murdering too many rabbits too quickly in order to avoid my naughtiness getting too high, ensuring that weird kobold thing with a sack doesn't bother me this time. To achieve this, I stored rabbits in this chest to space out murdering sessions. On day 9, I went and stabbed some bees, which yielded me a couple of stingers. I found a mine entrance not too far from my base, which was good news, and I finally had another go at summoning my twin sister Abigail. I threw my boomerang at this pig, and then it hit me in the face because I still had no idea how to catch the boomerang, and then I placed her flower down on the ground. I donned my log armor and fought the pig, and just as well I had the armor because he did chonky damage, and my plan worked.
There's Abigail.
I immediately tested out my twin sister's combat prowess.
She's hurting them all. She's a beast. What an absolute unit.
She pretty much stun-locked those spiders to death. Absolutely glorious. I then wandered to the end of the road.
Who's this big boy? Pig King. Live it up while you can, your majesty. Okay.
I opted not to bother the big fella, as I feared his considerable girth. I instead set up camp while Abigail demolished some spiders. And in the morning we fought some piggies, and it didn't go well.
Did she die? Okay, she's not invincible. Her flower's here. Okay, and I see. Her flower's shriveled up again.
So I guess I'll have to wait again before she returns, and maybe next time I won't fight 3 pigs at once, even though I do want their skin. On the way home, I placed a few more traps and collected more poop, and once home I made 2 more farm plots. I used my influx of spiders' webs to make a net, and then got into a fight with some interloping spiders. And without Abigail to carry me, I very nearly died, but I panic ate some spider glands for health and managed to de-aggro the spiders. I collected twigs and rabbits before heading back to bee land to catch some bees.
Run! Killer bees!
I also caught a butterfly, and I think I may have angered a few fighter bees.
I got multiple battalions of killer bees chasing me.
My net broke once I'd caught 9 bees. And as I headed home, I heard the hounds signaling their imminent attack. So I went and hung out with my beefalo buddies.
Yeah, that's what you get. You get the wrath of the beefalo.
I discovered I just needed honeycomb for a bee box, and I wondered if murdering a bee might yield some.
Oh no, I turned all of them into stingers? I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to do one at a time. What can I do with stingers? Sleep dart. Cut reeds, jet feather.
Rest in peace, 9 bees. I harvested my crops, and between veggies and rabbits, my food situation was officially under control, with a stack of meatballs growing in my inventory. I found one of these skeleton blokes down here, so I claimed the boards he left behind, and then I dug up this suspicious pile of dirt, which revealed a footprint. And I found another, and another, and I followed them a while north, collecting flowers for a garland on the way. Eventually, I sensed the beast's presence nearby.
Oh, here it is. What is it? It pooped.
I camped the night, and in the morning Abigail was ready for her triumphant return, so I placed her flower down and killed a spider. I then attempted to fight the weird elephant, but it was too skittish so I couldn't even land a hit, so I left it be for now. I returned home to some chores, made myself another chest, and put Abigail to work dominating some spiders. Day 14 was a day of stocking up. I collected a whole bunch of logs while Abigail farmed spider drops, and day 15 was another day of stocking up. This time I headed through the wormhole to collect as much rock, flint, and gold as possible, and we also fought a pig, which almost killed me. I stayed the night and continued collecting in the morning before heading home with almost 100 rocks, 64 flint, and 16 gold nuggets. I'd also dug up a few berry bushes while out, so I planted those. But I didn't fertilize them with manure, so I guess I must have forgot that they won't grow after replanting, which is a bit goosey. I had yet another harvest, and I was collecting heaps of spider webs and glands because Abigail kept getting into fights with them. I returned with a new net to catch some more bees, and I discovered Abigail was quite the bee conqueror.
Get Abigailed.
One of the dead bees dropped my first bit of honey, and I decided to destroy one of the hives, which yielded some more honey and some honeycomb. I found this half-buried dingus, whose death provided me with a bunch of ropes, and I collected enough flowers to craft a replacement garland when my current one broke.
Bee mine. Weaponized bees, what could go wrong? Make a bee box over here. They shall labor so I can steal. Perfect.
I picked up Abigail's glorious spider mess from the night's battles, and wondered if making the beehive so close was a mistake because now my base was constantly buzzing.
No, there's flaming bees buzzing constantly. It was a mistake. It's definitely a mistake.
I placed manure on the berry plants, I guess I did remember after all, and now I had yet another food source right next to my base. I then ate a bunch of spider glands to top up my health. I made a bird trap out of spider webs and twigs, placed some seeds in it as bait, and very quickly caught myself a birdie.
Hey! I don't know why it took me so long to try this. Red bird. Murder. Crimson feather. What can I do with a crimson feather? Fire dart. Cut reeds. I don't have any reeds. I don't even know where a swamp is where I can get reeds. Down here, there's lots of exploring to do. I've only found one wormhole on this map.
It's true I hadn't explored too much, but this sums up my approach to this attempt.
I really just need to dig in for a big winter, right?
I placed a lightning rod and collected my second captured bird, a crow whose murder yielded me a jet feather. And it's certainly the case that I was well stocked for winter. I had heaps of all the essential materials on me, as well as backup stacks in my chests. And I had a whole bunch of meatballs. Almost too many, as they were threatening to go stale. Oh, and I had plenty of materials with which to make a thermal stone in preparation for the cold. So that was a relief. Regardless, I struck out on day 20 with aims to stockpile even more. I gathered pretty much everything, and I explored a little too, uncovering another bee area over here, as well as some ponds. But my expedition was cut short by some silly hounds, which forced me to run back to the safety of the beefalo. The cold was beginning to set in on day 21, so I collected heaps of grass and placed a few few more rabbit traps. As I knew the crops and berries were on pause now, so I figured I'd better go heavier on the rabbits. I also tried cooking morsels with honey for the first time.
Honey nuggets. Honey nuggets, let's go.
I tried for another expedition, hoping to snag a round of berries and carrots before the snows came, but I ended up running for ages down this road without finding the right biome. I did at least notice this swampy area on the way back, where I finally collected some reeds.
I've never had reeds before. Worth.
And then began winter. I played it pretty conservatively because, as we've established, I was quite fearful. And at this point I began stockpiling rabbits big time, which took a lot of chest space, but it meant they didn't spoil, and of course I could control my naughtiness by being more deliberate with my murdering timings. On day 25 I poked some beehives, because even though the worker bees were hibernating, the killer bees still came out to defend. I figured I'd let Abigail stun-lock them to death and hope for honey drops, as that was a good ingredient to mix with the rabbit morsels, which would ultimately reduce the number of rabbits I needed to murder, and therefore reduce my overall naughtiness. I destroyed a couple of the hives too, but these don't respawn, so I left the rest intact for a renewable bee source.
My meatballs, oh, my meatballs are stale? That's not good.
So perhaps I over-prepared after all. I had so much food lying around it was going foul. I made another chest for rabbit hoarding, and I had a nice pile of spider glands, since Abigail couldn't resist getting into scraps with the local spider population.
So many spider glands. I actually used a couple. My health got a bit low. Let's go bother some bees.
After another wonderful bee bothering session, I came away with 21 stingers and 2 honey. Not bad. I started taking damage from the cold on the way home, as my thermal stone had lost its toastiness, and my rabbit earmuffs were clearly not fluffy enough, so I burned this grass to warm up. The next morning, day 28 had dawned, and I'd officially lasted longer than ever before.
Let's go bother some bees again. Let's go bother some bees.
This bee bothering session backfired when Abigail reverted into a flower, and this iteration of Abigail must have killed about 40 spiders and 40 bees, so I guess she earned her rest. I stayed on top of the usual chores, and on the morning of day 29 I was visited by an old friend.
Oh no, I literally just was wondering why I hadn't seen any of these big fellas around. Yes! Yes! How's this gonna end? Oh, beefalo wool. Oh! Yes! Look at all this. And he doesn't care about me anymore. Oh my gosh, this is glorious.
I'd scored myself 6 beefalo wool, 8 meat, and a beefalo horn, which you can blow to lure beefalo. As I investigated what I could craft with the wool, I realized my remaining meatballs had spoiled. A shame, but I already had a stack of 6 nuggets with honey and a chest full of rabbits, so I wasn't at any risk of starving. Without Abigail around to bash people up, the spiders were quite annoying at night.
There's Mr. Tree. Did you get any more fights with beefalo, Mr. Tree?
Apparently not, so I guess I've got a tree lurking nearby now. I made yet another rabbit hoarding chest, and I literally had 20 rabbits stockpiled at this point. I'm sure they love life stuffed in a wooden box together. These spiders chased me around at night again, and Treebeard rudely refused to help me, but I survived the night, and on day 31 Abigail was ready to return. So I aggroed some spiders and brought her back. Good to see you, Ghosty. I seemed to be managing quite well, and I was already over halfway through winter, but that night something outrageous happened.
What is that? That's a big mama. That's a huge spider. I think it's stuck in the trees.
So apparently the local spider population has evolved, or the big mama has emerged, or something. While praying the enormous arachnid came no closer, I cooked 4 of the meat from those beefalo and made my first meaty stew. And as day 32 dawned, all hell broke loose. Some hounds decided it was time to annoy me, so I attempted to get them in a war with the spiders.
Go on, get into a fight with the spiders. Abigail's so dead. Look at this! Get out of there, Abigail! Retreat!
Abigail went beast mode and took down a bunch of spiders and I think some doggies too, but she was looking a little worse for wear.
Retreat, 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 retreat! Oh yeah, bring the big spider over here. Come on, tree boy. Oh no, don't fight the tree. Oh, okay, Abigail's dead again. Come on, tree. Fight the spider. Yeah, here we go. No, fight the spider. Come on, why doesn't the tree want to fight?
I tried to get some beefalo involved in the melee, but they refused to engage too. And all the while, the mama spider kept spawning more gremlin spiders.
Why am I getting permanently chased by these nerds? How do I get you in an angry mood? Are you in an angry mood now? Come on, beefalo. Oh, he's fast. Please fight them. Please fight them. Please fight them. I made a grave mistake, you know.
So I think enraging literally every enemy in the vicinity was definitely not the play, because now I had the entire zoo after me. No matter what I did, I couldn't get them to fight each other, and so I had a fun night running around in circles like an idiot. I managed to set the tree on fire, so that was something.
Right, the big thing's on fire. Are they just sleeping in my base? Oh my, they set up a home on my base.
And with that, it was time to give up on reclaiming my base, for now at least. I ran west a little, which lost me the attention of the various enemies, and I set up a new campfire. And in some ways, it was like starting all over. Fortunately, I had 2 meaty stews on me, which were quite nourishing, and I had 1 healing salve that I made from spider gland and ash, so I topped up my health a little too. I got another crock pot down, and honestly, setting up additional camps is something I needed to do anyway, just so I had more bases of operation to get better use out of the map. So I was at least partly grateful that the incident of the 5 million angry enemies forced me to broaden my horizons.
You can't defeat me that easily. I thought I was done. I didn't need to panic.
I released and killed a rabbit to get Abigail back, and that took a big chunk of my sanity apparently, so on day 34 I headed out in search of flowers.
Believe there are flowers around. Here we go. Oh, there's another one of these things. Okay, now I got 2 resurrections.
I found enough flowers to craft a garland, solving my sanity woes, and I found some berries too, so that was a handy bonus. As I sicked Abigail on some bees, the snow dried up, good signs, and I got a fascinating drop.
Give me honey. Ooh. Bundling wrap blueprint. Learn. Okay.
I had no idea that there were blueprints in this game, but bundling wrap sounds interesting. I finished day 34 confident that I'd survived the crisis.
An expedition back to the main base. The spider-infested main base. Okay, everyone's angry at me. Abigail is fighting 6,000 spiders at once. Oh, there's honey. 1 honey after all this time. Okay. Well, Abigail's dead again.
After Abigail's valiant sacrifice, I managed to collect some resources, and I planted my crops too, so hopefully they'll grow as soon as winter is over. But while I was trying to find Abigail's flower, this yellow idiot started harassing me, so I fled back to my new base. I set up a chest and made sure to place half a stack or so of the essentials in it, so that if things got dicey, there'd always be a fail-safe camp with everything I needed. I collected rabbits for meatballs and chopped down some more trees. On day 36, I rescued Abigail's flower and managed to purloin more stuff from my old base, and I murdered 16 rabbits. Enough for 4 meals of meatballs. 2 berry bushes were even ready, so things were looking up. As I continued establishing my second base, I think I began to feel somewhat confident in this game for the first time.
I believe this means I officially survived winter. Let's go, baby!
I celebrated by chopping down a bunch of trees. I placed down another chest and a science machine which I used to craft a fishing rod.
Can I? Oh, I can.
I was able to snag this Flotsam, but I had no idea how the minigame worked. I got there eventually though, and fished up a sea worther, some grass, and a soaked candle. I headed west to the Pig King on day 38, and on the way I dug a grave.
Blue gem. Ooh.
And I tested something I learned on Google.
Oh, that gave me a lot. Pig King is my G. He accepts gifts from me and gives me gold in return. It's like an opposite of the Minecraft situation.
I then spectated a round of pig versus spider violence.
Nice. Free loot.
I dug up another blue gem from this grave, and I discovered I can fish up fishies in ponds. Wonderful news and yet another food source.
Alright, I got 4 fish.
I cooked them up and they gave me meatballs, which doesn't seem right, but whatever. I set up a third chest, and the hounds were back to bother me yet again, so I led them to my beefalo buddies.
What the hell? How did they catch on fire? Where would I be without beefalo? We love beefalo. Yes, we do.
The hound count seemed to increase as the playthrough progressed, so it is indeed just as well I had beefalo to exploit.
Nice, more honey.
What? That night, Abigail was ready to play, so I sacrificed my sanity by whacking this innocent rabbit in order to welcome her back. I also made a few healing salves and topped up my HP. And on day 40, we headed to battle.
Alright, we might actually do it. Yes! Reclaimed the homeland.
So that was easier than expected.
This one still looks terrifying.
I decided to take it on anyway, because after the Spider Queen incident, I figured it unwise to keep the spider's nest quite so close to my base. Fortunately, Abigail is of course a unit, so I managed to destroy it, and I was pleased to discover it dropped an egg, so I was able to replace it, just a little bit further away so it wasn't such a threat, but close enough so that I could still easily farm webs and glands.
Well, we reclaimed the original base. Feels good. Oh no. Did I just infuriate the beast? I didn't mean to chop the tree, bro. Oh no.
Abigail was KO'd by some leafy limbs, and these idiot music shadow hands kept bothering me, so I had a rough night.
Whew, that night was stressful.
I set up a food and rabbit chest at base number 2, and I wandered back towards the old base, collecting on the way, but the big tree dingus decided he hated me again.
This tree hates me. One day I'll kill the tree haunting my my first base.
I went on a sanity expedition of flower picking, and while out, I discovered this weird box thing and gnome ruin situation, and I collected the day away. On day 43 of this 4th attempt, I made an alchemy machine, and spent the day looking more closely at all the recipes available to me, as now that I'd stabilized, I felt I'd better find a way to progress. And I finally made a tent.
Oh, it chewed through my hunger. But if I'm good for food, that's not that bad. Interesting. I think it gave me sanity and I think it gave me health as well.
So this was a great way to essentially trade food for health and sanity. Very handy indeed, especially if my food situation remains strong. I decided to collect some evil flowers, as these can be turned into nightmare fuel. They removed 5 sanity apiece, but I was at max, so I figured it was no big deal.
Oh, look at you. Totally normal tree. That is a totally normal tree. What the heck?
I set up a camp near my friend the Pig King, and I gave him a gnome. I tried to give him the box thing too, but he didn't want it. So I guess this is no mere trinket as I'd assumed. Some pigs punched this frog, so I got my first frog legs, and then we fought the pigs because I wanted some pig skin. But unfortunately, they only dropped meat. And the next day we got into an all-out brawl with a rather large group of pigs, which didn't go well. And I tried to appease this pig with a carrot, but that also didn't end well. Once back at base, some hounds arrived to bother me yet again, but they were of course no match for some red bum beefalo. Also, they spontaneously caught on fire again, which was inspirational.
Are you here to fight me again? You silly dingus. Why do you hate me so much?
While this idiot chased me around, I made myself a top hat.
Alright, top hat. Can I wear this?
I ran back to my other base and used the top hat plus some boards and a rabbit to make a prestihatitator. I think that's how you say it. And this outrageous device lets you make magical stuff. And it revealed some juicy new recipes.
Telelocator stuff. Oh, I can teleport with this, I guess? Oh my gosh, there's so much more to this game.
And I used the prestihatitator to turn those evil petals into nightmare fuel.
Telelocator seems nuts. How do I make a shadow manipulator? I need a purple gem. I've got blue gems. I need red gems. Living logs. So I need to kill one of those big idiots. Alright.
Day 101, also known as day 47 of attempt number 4, began with the realization that this silly willy tree still wanted to whack me, and I'd had enough.
There you go. Burn.
I set Treebeard on fire a few times, but I wanted to finish him off without fire, as I feared the flames would ruin whatever loot he had to offer. And so, once I thought he must be low on health, I went in for the poke with my spear.
Hey, I actually did it. I timed it properly. 6 living logs. Let's go. Okay, that's great news.
These living logs are used in multiple magical crafting recipes. Very juicy. I harvested some crops, snagged an old boot from the sea, cooked all the ingredients I had on hand in the crock pot, and then prepped my inventory for an adventure. As day broke, I headed south. I collected on the way before arriving at my destination, this little swampy swamp. The goal was to gather as many of these reeds as possible while avoiding the noodly whip of these tentacles. I attempted to get some spider versus tentacle action going.
Hey, go. Over here. Oh, damn it. Never mind. I regret everything.
And before long, I'd explored the entire swamp. It was pretty small. It did yield me 14 reeds though.
Yeah, go. Fight. Okay, well, you owned him. I'll take some free meat. And we set up a base here.
I was of the mind that little bases set up all over the place was a solid plan to ensure I had plenty of safe zones to fall back on while exploring. And now that I had some reeds, I struck out east.
Oh, I can give him stuff. Seed? Landlubber. You want a stick? Do you want meatballs? Do you want stuffed eggplant? No? Why do you want any of my food?
Old mate did not want any of my choice goods. What a cheeky parrot. I decided exploring the entire map was a good goal to work towards, so I started with this flowery bee biome, where I stumbled upon a most glorious find.
Absolute bee city over here. Oh, yes. Yes. Chester. Here he is. Yes! Crazy how much you find when you just actually explore a bit.
I love Chester. Everybody loves Chester. And that night, I acted upon the advice of some commenters. I kept on the move.
I'm playing brave tonight. I don't think I did this at all in my first 100 days. No, we're just running around.
As you can see, as long as you've got a torch, there's no reason to just sit by a campfire. I probably would have whacked down a little base here just for safety, but I was fresh out of rocks. So in the morning, I marched off into this rather large swamp, hoping there'd be one of them boulder biomes on the other side.
Leave Chester alone. Run, Chester! Run! Another forest with a perfectly normal tree, which I can chop, but I probably won't chop right now. Merm house. Ooh. Oh, what are you? You look angry.
I fled the juicy lips of that wild-eyed fish man and tried to find the edges of the swamp.
The disturbing rumble of the entire world while these tentacles are emerging, erupting forth, terrifying.
Fortunately, all you need to do to avoid the tentacles is some tactical running, so that's what I did.
Ah! Run, Chester.
I spotted a wormhole, and at the northern edge of the swamp, I proved myself a big goose by failing to swerve this tentacle.
Ow!
I ate all the spider glands I had on hand immediately, as these restore 8 health each. And as night fell, I decided I didn't want to be in the swamp anymore.
I need to get out of here. Alright, let's try and go through this wormhole.
The trip into the toothy butthole proved quite convenient.
All the way out east here. Alright, I'll take it because there's some rocks right next to me.
I began collecting rocks, but the hounds decided they were hungry.
No. Oh, here we go. That's a good battle.
So at least one hound died in a vicious battle with a spiky tentacle, and I outran all the others.
Oh gosh, expeditions in this game is so scary.
As you can tell, I wasn't interested in fighting the hounds myself, partly because I didn't have Abigail with me at this point, but mainly because I was too scared. As day 51 dawned, I found yet another wormhole, but before heading through, I collected a bunch, including flowers to top up my sanity, and berry bushes which I uprooted to replant later. Once I had 12 flowers for a new garland, I headed through the hole. It pooped me out quite close to that rocky biome I fled yesterday. And after poking around a little, I decided to set up a base by the road. I headed east to grab rocks again, but I failed to take something rather obvious into account.
Oh, the hounds are still here. That makes sense.
And so after the double whammy of hounds thwarting my attempts at an eastern base, I fled back to my established bases to regather myself.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Thanks to some helpful comments, I now knew I could push these creepy music hands away, which was good news. And I'd also learned that certain veggies were better off cooked over the fire, as they offer better sustenance this way. And so I cooked this pumpkin and eggplant right on the flames, but I hung onto the corn as well as the bounty of berries and carrots I had from my travels, as these are great filler for various crockpot recipes. I slapped a rabbit and welcomed Abigail to the party, and had a day of collecting and cooking food, resulting in a growing pile of meatballs in my bag. I wandered over to my western base, where I built a bird cage, planted and fertilized a bunch of berry bushes, and then imprisoned a red birdie in the cage.
What does the birdcage do then? I surely don't know.
And that was the end of that. I still don't know what this achieves besides looking pretty. I cut down some trees to top up my log stockpile, and then got into a vicious battle with this field of eyeballs. We cleared our way to the center bulb and took it out. And apparently I can place this down wherever I want now. But I just chucked it in a chest.
These bees are so annoying. Let's destroy this beehive, I think.
That brought an end to the incessant buzzing. I collected a bunch on day 55, scooping up sapling and berry bushes. I got into an epic battle with some angry pigs over here, and apparently employed a zero kiting strategy against this fella, which I wouldn't recommend.
Bounty of berries.
I collected into the night, unveiling this entire biome to see if I'd find anything of interest, but all I found was the edge of the map and lots of delicious grass. I had a joyous time burning some poop, which produced ash, which I used to craft a few healing salves.
Football helmet. Nice. Okay, so I think I got some good defensive stuff now.
I donned my new sporting attire for a battle with some spiders, but let's be honest, Abigail did most of the heavy lifting. And then I started feeling a little bit chilly, which took me by surprise.
How did winter come so fast?
I swerved this red bum beefalo on the way to grab my thermal stone from the western base, and on the way back I failed to swerve. Look at that furious face, and then how quickly it morphs back to totally chill. Silly beefalo.
I'll fight you, beefalo. Let's go.
The beefalo hoofed me a couple of times, but it barely did any damage. This marked the beginning of me finally realizing just how strong armor is in this game. I checked to see if I could make something warm for the winter with the 3 beefalo wool I just earned, but I was just shy of what I needed for a winter hat.
Ham bat. What the hell?
This chunk of meat doesn't have durability, so I was able to whack away with it to my heart's content. It did spoil though, but we'd just come into winter, so this first ham bat lasted me quite a while. And with the dawn came some snow, along with some more beefalo murder. Abigail kept chasing the adolescent one for some reason, so I kited the big boof and took her out fairly easily. I used the extra wool to make a beanie, which helps fend off the cold and also provides a boost to sanity, because it is indeed quite stylish.
I feel like I'm OP now. I won't kill the baby beefalo, because that's just cruel and unusual.
I used my newfound power to get some more meat and wool.
Abigail, run. Run. I'll try to save you, Abigail. No, they're all coming still. Run. Beginning to wonder if Abigail is a liability more than anything.
Despite Abigail's best efforts, she somehow didn't die, and I managed to lure these 2 beefalo away from the herd.
The ham bat destroys nerds. Holy crap.
I set up a bird trap, hoping to catch Azure birds as I wanted their feathers, and I destroyed this fully upgraded spider's nest, because I didn't want the big mama spider to spawn.
Penguins!
I replaced the nest and then had a friendly hound visit. And thanks to my newfound combat prowess and Abigail's steadfast support, I took them out fairly comfortably.
Ham bat is monstrously good. How did I not know this? I feel like I need to kill penguins in revenge for last time. I'm gonna regret this.
In my second attempt at this game, the penguins destroyed me. To be fair, I started it, but still, it was time for my revenge.
Oh. No. I can hear the guy hissing. I've been murdering too many things.
The guy hissing is the Krampus, who comes to steal your stuff if you're too naughty. And killing penguins is naughty, apparently. I burned these pine cones for ash and made some more healing salves, and I made my first blow dart from a hound's tooth and an azure feather.
Oh, here we go. Look, he's back.
I put down a campfire, and unfortunately Abigail copped a big whack, which turned her back into a flower. And then things got a little out of hand.
Oh, he's gonna... Oh, no. Oh, no. Well... I got ash for days now.
I collected as much of the ash as possible before it all blew away, and look how small an amount of damage the big tree does when I'm wearing both log armor and a football helmet. Seems good. I got into a rhythm of baiting out and dodging his attack, and then whacking him 3 or 4 times before dodging his attack once more.
Hey, that wasn't so bad. Dude, the ham thing's OP. That was a lot of saplings that I just wasted.
I continued collecting azure feathers from trapped birds and using them to expand my blow dart collection, and when the first strap broke, I replaced it with 2 more. I also killed spiders daily for their silk, glands, and monster meat, which by this point I'd worked out was great as filler in the crockpots. Eating monster meat usually hurts both your health and sanity, but when mixed into a crockpot dish, I guess the flavor gets lost. I was developing quite a juicy bird collection, and since I was only really interested in the blue birds, these black and red ones were relegated to hanging out in a chest. I planted the 10 saplings that I had on hand. These replaced the many saplings lost in the Great Fire of day 61.
I think that's 1/4 what I had before. Welcome back, Abigail. Oh, I took a hit.
This is when I finally realized that each time I brought Abigail back, I took a huge hit to sanity. And my hat was slowly gaining me sanity in daylight hours, but I figured I'd better top myself up. So I headed back to my tent at the western base and had a cheeky snooze for the night.
That gave me like 50 sanity. Oh wait, do I have 2 honeycomb here? Okay, sweet. Let's use this to make beeswax, make a virus. I want to make wax paper. Okay, now, I want to make bundling wrap. Okay.
I didn't use the bundling wrap immediately, so I didn't yet realize what a glorious item I had on my hands. When attempting to lure out some spiders to kill, I accidentally destroyed the entire nest somehow, so I struck out west and took down this big honkin' nest, and that night I fought off yet more hounds. I placed the spider nest next to the western base, and Abigail was furiously trying to immediately undo my hard work.
No, Abigail, chill. Chill, Abigail.
I hunted some piggies because I wanted more meat and pigskin, except most of the pigs went to bed before I could donk them on the head, so I spent the night near my pig king fire, chopping trees and killing spiders. Come morning, it was back to using my ham bat to beat up some pre-ham, and I killed about 10 of them, earning myself 7 meat and 3 more pig skins. Also, some penguins made their home right on top of my fire, which I thought was quite an impressive display of dominance. I headed back, collecting flowers on the way to top up my sanity, and to well and truly top it up, I had another sleep in my tent. My other motive for this sleep was to use up this meaty stew as it had gone stale, so I figured trading it in for some sanity and health was a good plan before it spoiled. I was now out of food, so I spent some time collecting rabbits and cooking.
Oh yeah, I want to try use... I'm gonna wrap these up. I think that preserves them.
The bundling wrap does indeed preserve whatever is held inside it, and it can fit 4 things at once, saving inventory room. The reason I put the meat in it is so I can whip it out later and make more ham bats. I had accrued a solid 6 blow darts by this point, so it was time to execute my plan. I wandered a safe distance away from my base and began murdering crows. And I must have been very close to the naughtiness threshold, because almost immediately I was visited by some friends.
Here he is. We killed him. Okay, well that was a waste. Oh my gosh. I just used 6 darts and they dropped charcoal. I should have just hit him with my bat. Why did I waste my darts? I was like paranoid that I wouldn't be able to kill them.
So yeah, I killed 2 Krampus, I guess. Those 6 darts took me like 8 days to make, so was it worth it? Absolutely not, but as I continued cooking up a storm, I tried to look on the bright side.
At least I can say that I killed them, right?
I wanted to replenish my blow dart supply, but I was tired of traps only getting bluebirds 1/3 of the time. So I made a boomerang with the intent to hunt down bluebirds in the wild.
I can't even one-hit the birds with this. Pathetic.
Wendy has reduced damage compared to the other characters, so she is officially terrible at killing birds. Also, I still don't know how to catch the boomerang, so as you saw, it whacked me in the face. Fails all round.
So let's unwrap this. Make another ham bat.
When you unwrap a bundle, the wax paper is returned to you, so all you need is another rope and you can wrap the bundle up once more. This time I filled all 4 slots, just to save space in my inventory.
Where do I make a wing? Kinda wanna make a base over here.
I collected on the way grass, twigs, flowers, and reeds. And Abigail and I bashed up this tentacle.
Tentacle spike. Ooh, it's a weapon. You never know, I might find some good stuff. Oh, here we go. Huh.
It was one of those random swamp farms featuring a metal potato thing. I made my way back to the eastern base I'd begun setting up, dispatched these 2 lurking hounds, and crafted 3 cut stone with which I made another crock pot. I made a chest too.
What are you angry about, bees? How? What are these bees angry about? Where do they even come from? There's no beehive nearby.
After the incident with the mysterious angry bees, I struck out east exploring. I resumed collecting the boulders of this rocky biome, and right on cue some more flamin' hounds showed up.
Abigail's owning them. Oh, it got on fire. That's annoying.
Unfortunately, Abigail met her demise yet again, but I defeated the hounds without losing any health, which was good news. I continued mining through the night until True Dark forced me to put down my pickaxe in favor of a torch, at which point I continued uncovering the map. This was a big old savanna, and it featured some suspicious dirt piles, which I followed until I sensed the beast nearby.
Can I fight you, beast?
I tried to back the big girl into a corner, but she was too slippery, so I resorted to shooting a dart to enrage her. It was then a matter of dodging and ham slapping.
Oh, that's a lot of meat, dude. Alright, well, I got a colophant trunk. I can eat it? What the hell?
In the center of the big savanna was this random grassy biome and of course the rocky biome, which I returned to and continued my mining exploits.
A walrus thingo. Next winter, you're mine.
You may recall in attempt 3, I was viciously murdered by a walrus, so I had plans for vengeance come the snowy season. Once my bags were full up, I headed back to camp, killing some spiders on the way, and when I got there, I was greeted by some more mysterious angry bees. I also planted and fertilized the 10 berry bushes I brought with me. I chopped down a bunch of trees and made a 3rd storage chest, and popped down a bird trap too so I could continue making them blow darts. And on day 76, I cleaned up the remainder of the boulders in this rocky biome, which took most of the day, before finishing up exploring this region, which was indeed a big juicy savanna, with 0 beefaloes, which I found surprising. I'd collected a fairly large amount of materials, particularly rocks, gold, and grass, but I'd begun to run low on food. This didn't stress me as it did earlier in the run, as I now felt pretty competent at gathering food options, but it was still quite time-consuming staying on top of it. I headed south, battled some spiders, and then stumbled into the most glorious bee biome you've ever laid eyes on.
So many killer bees, bro.
It featured these angry-looking killer beehives, which angry bees emerged from as soon as you stepped too close.
Oh my gosh, there's so many killer bees here. This biome's ridiculous.
I continued on, following the edge of the map into this grasslands, and just as night ended, I found something intriguing.
Oh, here we go.
One of these chessboard situations, except the hounds began baying, so I waited before investigating further.
Hurry up then, dogs.
Abigail and I had an epic battle featuring spontaneous combustion.
These guys burn everything down, don't they?
A red gem dropped from one of the fire doggies, so that was a nice bonus.
Uh-oh.
I lured this rhino mech fella away, and he was rather fond of charging.
Is Abigail dead? Probably. Yeah, got him.
Next was this little head-butting horsey that I cleaned up pretty easily. Then this weirdo bishop that shot sparky balls at me.
Whoa, how did that hit me?
Thanks to my armor, I absorbed the hits that I took fairly well, and I had a good stock of healing salves to top up my health. And as you can see, these wind-up chest pieces dropped a whole bunch of gears, and the bishops dropped purple gems. Very juicy.
Cleared out this place, so that's something.
By the end of this battle, both my log armor and football helmet had broken, so clearly I took a few hits. And my bags were full, so I headed back to base.
I keep using the mouse. Everyone was giving me a hard time for using the mouse instead of WASD and spacebar and F, but I can't stop using it.
All the roasting had me trying to relearn my controls, as I had played the first 130 days or so completely unaware that you could interact with stuff by pressing spacebar and attack by pressing F, so I'd just been using the mouse. Another suggestion I followed was to make a hammer, an item I'd completely overlooked thus far. After clearing my bags and cooking a couple of meals, I headed back out collecting flowers and killing spiders. I mean, fleeing from spiders.
That's right, I need armor.
I made another log armor and football helmet, and I swapped out my almost rotten ham bat for that tentacle spike I'd collected earlier, and I headed back out. I outran some red bees and collected some goodies. By the way, I was always topping up my grass and twig supply in particular, as I needed 1 or 2 torches per night, and these used 2 of each. I mined up all these marble trees and earned myself 22 marble. I got assaulted by this frog, and I examined this wooden thing.
So I've got a box thing. I've got like a potato thing at my base just nearby. I suspect all the things combine. This looks like the base of something stupid.
So that added a new goal to my list. Bring together all the things and see what happens. As night continued, I headed northwest up this road.
Just more bees, man. This is bees galore. Bees, bees, bees. Bees, bees, bees. Come get the berries, you idiot. I'll hide behind the bush. How come you didn't hit him? Hey, he stole one of my berries.
I continued exploring the area, collecting a rather large pile of berries and carrots, and once I'd fully explored, except for a bit of the bee area as I feared the angry bees without Abigail, I headed back to do some cooking. On the way, I welcomed back Abigail and cleaned up this spider nest.
Right, will this still work? If it's spoiled, but I mix it with 3 reasonably fresh berries. Yeah. Meatballs. Problem with these meatballs is that the meat is from a monster. So it's disgusting.
It's pretty handy that you can get meatballs from just 1 monster meat and 3 berries or carrots. Seems too easy to be honest, especially once farming spiders is no stress.
Dance, dance, dance. Dance, dance, dance. Oh, actually, I think someone told me you can use a straight up twig. 2 of those and then just a twig. Just a random twig. Does this work? Kebabs. I got too much food now, but whatever. We need some beeswax.
It's quite appropriate that the way to get beeswax is to whack bees, don't you reckon? I destroyed multiple beehives and found myself yet another bundling wrap blueprint.
Oh dear. Abigail, you've enraged the entire bee community. I got another bundling wrap. This is outrageous. Get these ones, Abigail, you lunatic. I got infinite bundling wrap blueprints. If these are supposed to be rare. Oh, learning them still gives me sanity. That's kind of cool. That was bee genocide. All right, give me these spiders though.
26 stingers, 18 honey, and 4 beeswax later, I headed back to base.
Oh. Nearly died.
And that's why you should always have a backup torch in your bags during the dark, dark night. I made 4 wax paper and 4 ropes, and then went on a bit of a cooking spree. I got my meatball stack up to 9 and chucked all those in another bundling wrap to preserve, along with some other stuff I put in there just to save bag space.
There's no way they haven't nerfed this in like the DLCs or something. Surely they've nerfed it. Or if not, the recipe must be way harder to find because I've literally found the recipe 7 times now.
I cooked a stack of 5 honey nuggets and was pleased to find they restored more health than meatballs.
The problem's gonna be I'm gonna be like, I don't know which one's got what in it because I was not paying attention to what I just did. That one's got the seeds in it. I don't know what these 4 have in them. I should have paid more attention.
So these bundles were now mystery packages thanks to my lack of planning, but either way I'd packed 20 inventory slots into 5, so that was a big win. I wandered the swamp restocking my reed supply, as the wax paper for the bundling wraps had used up 4 reeds each, and as day 86 dawned I made my way to this touchstone to make use of my new hammer. Thanks to some advice from commenters, I now knew you could whack these gruesome pig heads to earn 2 pigskin a pop, which is extremely juicy.
Nice.
I then collected my way back to my original base.
Oh, that's a baby beefalo. Oh, red bum. Haven't been here for ages, man.
And I wandered over to the touchstone near my western base, and just like that I had a whopping 16 pigskins. It was then time to set my eyes on the telelocator staff and focus, a new crafting objective. And while trying to scrounge up the living logs, gems, and nightmare fuel I had lying around, I remembered yet another tip I'd received.
Oh, apparently you can plant these. You can... That makes no sense. I hope I'm not the only one that agrees, that thinks that makes no sense.
I'm not sure what I'm talking about. Burying a butterfly always results in the spontaneous appearance of a flower. No worries. I headed off to explore the remainder of this forest area to the west.
You can whack these down too, apparently. Oh, you get lots of resources. Sorry, I just destroyed your house, Mr. Pig.
I then found what I was after, 8 evil flowers, which I turned into 2 nightmare fuel. I successfully unwrapped my 2 purple gems, and I was ready to craft.
Alright, let's try this. Telelocator star. Use a shadow... Oh, I need a shadow manipulator. Wait, how do I make that? Oh, okay, I'm gonna need more purple gems and 3 more nightmare fuel as well.
I headed south to this spot where I'd found one of the things ages ago, and I collected yet more evil flowers, as well as some normal flowers to counteract the sanity loss. I took to this living tree with my axe, and surprise, surprise, it yielded me some living logs.
Can I dig up nightmare fuel? I can. Well, that helps.
Defiling graves always pays off, no doubt, no doubt.
Rotten eggs? Where do these rotten eggs come from?
Clearly I forgot about the penguins that were squatting here during winter, and apparently they'd left some eggs behind, which seems irresponsible.
Shadow manipulator.
I built the creepy contraption, and with that I was one step closer to making some juicy magical items. But I now needed more purple gems and a bunch more nightmare fuel. I lured a fresh pack of hounds to the beefalo for a good old-fashioned rumble.
Oh, the beefalo got red bums at the moment. Abigail's gonna die for sure.
And after that chaos, I had a juicy haul of loot, including a red gem from one of the fiery hounds.
Make a purple gem. I got 2 of these again, but now I just need a bunch of nightmare fuel.
I finally made use of one of those gears I'd collected earlier to make an ice box, which I believe halves the rate of spoilage, and I dumped quite a stock of ingredients in there. I chopped trees by the full moon's light and made myself 2 more chests, because this base really did have a lot of stuff everywhere.
Food is no problem. Sanity, oh, that's right. I think one other thing that I heard is that jerky gives a lot of sanity.
I made 5 drying racks and hung some morsels and meat up to dry before getting myself prepared for another expedition. I bundled stuff, continued cooking, stumbled upon the aftermath of a spider versus beefalo melee, and soon found the morsels had dried into small jerky.
This restores 10 sanity, okay.
Not too bad. I headed out with an organized inventory, including the box thing. I stopped by this base to grab the crank thing, and wormholed my way to the eastern base where I grabbed the metal potato thing. And early on day 92 I said,
Winter is coming.
it's uncanny how I sound exactly the same as Sean Bean. Am I right? It was then time for the combining of the things.
Oh. Oh. That's doing something. It's not finished. I think I need another thing.
I collected 20 of the evil flowers too, a nice neat multiple of 4 so I can turn them into 5 nightmare fuel. And that episode of gardening didn't do my sanity any favors.
Penguins. My old friends.
I collected flowers from the bee biome's abundance, topping up my sanity, and then I headed south into this forest for the first time.
Oh, Walrus is already here. Oh! I need Abigail for this. Alright, let's run back and get my darts.
I'd left my backpack behind in the chaos, but the good news was I'd found a walrus upon which to unleash my vengeance. Also, I found a bunch of cut stones, very handy. I got myself organized while spending the night at base, and in the morning I headed out to redeem myself. But then I realized my weapon was at 20% durability, so I figured I better make myself another ham bat. I opened 2 of the wrong bundles, which was predictable, but on attempt number 3 I found the meat and made the bat. Armed with 2 blow darts and a ham bat, I headed back out to do my final bit of prep, welcoming back Ghosty McGee, because no doubt she was thirsty for vengeance too. After all that, it was well and truly dark, so the walrus family had gone to bed for the night, so I settled for exploring the area fully before fleeing back to base to avoid the deadly chill. I whipped out my glorious beanie, and I also made a top hat, as I was pretty sure it restored more sanity. My plan was to whack on the top hat for sanity regen and switch to the beanie if the cold became a problem. I also had a toasty thermal stone to help ward off the chill.
Alright, let's actually fight these idiots. Oh, he died in 2 hits! Oh, he gave me a blow dart back. Walrus tusk. That was easy. You suck, Mr. Walrus. Can I destroy this? This home is not a happy one, I fear. That's sad. Where does dogs go?
I finally finished exploring the rest of the forest down here.
Oh, here's Maxwell's door. This is the second Maxwell's door we've found. I'm not gonna do that just now. I think what I might do is like an entire video dedicated to Maxwell's door. There's no thing down that way. I'm running out of places to check. I can check here more thoroughly, but I'm pretty sure there's just bee land. Up here I can check.
But first I made a parasol, and between the top hat and the parasol I had an impressive combo going.
So the top hat completely counteracts nighttime sanity decrease. Top hat plus parasol continues to gain sanity even while it's dark.
I investigated a use for the walrus tusk that had dropped from the big boy.
Walking cane. Trot on Oh, does this give you speed? Trot on with speed and poise. Yes, please.
There is nothing quite like a speed boost item in games like this. Very, very juicy.
Oh, it makes me run so much faster.
Ho ho ho! I then wandered into the swamp to uncover the remainder of that area on the map. And when I got cold, I burned down these creepy trees for warmth. And then I did just about the stupidest thing you have ever witnessed.
Oh gosh. That was so dumb. Damn it. That was so careless. I just didn't think it. What the hell am I doing? I wanted to save Abigail. Who cares about Abigail? Abigail's a dingus. Well, I just wasted one of my respawns. I might die twice too, because I'm chilled to the bone. I'm actually gonna die twice. Do I have stuff? Oh, I just survived.
So yeah, that was a questionable sequence of events. For some reason, I decided I needed to save Abigail from her silly willies fighting the tentacle, but I just didn't put any armor on. And then I really should have left a chest of goodies near the touchstone to keep me alive. Or I should have quickly grabbed 2 grass and 2 twigs to make a torch with which to start some nice warm fires. But despite those misplays, I just made it back to my base in time. Fortunately, I had some crops and berries to harvest, and even a bird that yielded me a morsel with which I made meatballs, so I was okay for food. And I had a stock of most basic materials too. But I clearly wasn't too happy with my efforts.
Oh man, what a silly Wally. What a doofus McGee. What a frustrating turn of events. I just let it kill me. I'm so stupid.
I chopped wood to keep the fire going, I made myself a football helmet, and I chased away these creepy hands. But the problem was both my health and sanity were looking pretty grim, and the health in particular was an issue because I wouldn't survive long in the cold, so I felt kind of stuck at this base.
Try and get 2 rabbits. Oh, it's the funky rabbits. Free nightmare fuel. Oh gosh. I can't go anywhere though. How many more days are there in winter? There's got to be at least a few.
My first idea had been to make earmuffs out of 2 rabbits, but because of my low sanity, the rabbits had turned into funky demons. I only had 3 spider silk at this base, so I couldn't make a top hat for sanity gain, and I didn't have the resources on hand to make a thermal stone.
Well, we're gonna try. I may just die. Running is keeping my body warmth up. I believe that's a mechanic.
Again, I could have made a torch to burn stuff if I got too cold, but apparently I'd forgotten about that option in my bout of depression after the unnecessary death.
Oh, so close to dying. Holy crap.
Fortunately, I made it. This base had what I needed for a top hat, 3 jerky dangling from these drying racks, which restored a good chunk of sanity and health, and a big stack of spider glands, which restored even more health, and also the materials to make a beanie. It was enough to get me back on my feet.
Pretty sure with this hat, this amount of food, I can mount an expedition to go get my stuff.
I was able to make a thermal stone too. I spent one more day for some reason, and I did some choice flotsam fishing because why not? And then right on cue, the hounds thought it'd be good time to bay.
This is gonna suck. Come on.
Fortunately, some hapless penguins had set up camp nearby.
Fight the penguins, you losers. Alright, successful. The penguins are destroying them as well. Yes, penguins. Love your work. So many teeth. Could sleep, by the way, but I don't have enough food, I don't think.
And so I waited out the night, which I'm pretty sure doesn't hit you with as much hunger as having a snooze does, but I could be wrong. And in the morning...
Go, 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 go.
I made it all the way through the wormhole and to my eastern base without having to whack on my beanie. No worries. This base had some meatballs ready to go, plus the ingredients to make a few more.
We got food for days now. It's all good.
With daylight, I headed out to collect my stuff, and you'll notice I actually put my helmet and armor on before finishing off the tentacle. A smart move.
He was within 1 hit, of course he was.
I didn't have room to fit in all the stuff though, so I took a bag load back to base and reorganized my inventory. I decided to craft a piggyback, which costs 4 pigskins, 6 silk, and 2 rope. And this thing is 4 slots bigger than a backpack, but it slows you down.
Okay, so I run a lot slower, but if you combine it with the stick, this is normal speed without the stick. This is normal speed with the piggyback, but with the stick, I think it's like they cancel each other out. I'm gonna say probably worth.
By the way, this day 154 was day 100 of attempt 4. I actually survived 100 days in a row. How about that? I grabbed the rest of my stuff and then decided I wanted to explore the rest of the swamp.
Oh gosh. Oh, I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't think anyone would be home. Fight the tentacles with the walking stick back on. Please leave me alone. He's having a snooze. What are you doing?
I rudely awoke this merm weirdo from his nap with a whack on the head from my ham bat.
There you go. Get some.
I fluffed around by the fire all night and headed out with the sunlight to finish exploring the remainder of the swamp. It was fairly uneventful, though I did snag some free loot dropped in the aftermath of some epic monster battles.
No, I feel like that is officially locked off. Tomorrow we go back to here and then maybe run down to here and begin exploring to the south.
With the dream to find more things and uncover the map, I wandered on my way. I took on some spiders in order to bring back Abigail, and it was a few moments before I realized I was whacking them with my walking stick, which apparently didn't do much damage.
Okay, that's definitely the edge of the map there. Alright, this is kind of just like a little spider forest, and that's about it.
Some hounds were keen for blood, so I did spinny circles around my southern base's fire. As you can see, the hound count is significantly higher than it was at the start of the run, so they definitely would have been a handful without my ghosty friend.
Get out of here.
In the morning, I backtracked a little in search of flowers, as my sanity was looking pretty grim.
Beehives, therefore flowers. Ooh, my logic is correct to a respectable degree. 2, 3, 4, 5, I can see, 6.
I made myself a parasol so that the top hat plus floral umbrella combo could work its magic, which was juicy, except it meant I was flamin' slow as I had to trade out my walking stick.
Alright, let's just do a little explore down here as well. Oh! And what do you know? I found it already. The ring thing. Is that the last thing I need, I wonder?
I wasn't sure, but I decided to go check. So back I went and spent the night at the eastern base.
Chilling by the fire with my top hat. Chilling by the fire with the top hat. Flitting by the fire with my top hat. Activate wooden thing. Well, it looks finished to me. I don't know what this does.
And so I jumped on the wiki.
This thing takes you to a new world. Apparently you keep all your items, so you can go to a brand new world completely stacked with items.
I still hadn't fully explored this world, so I wasn't interested in activating the strange pile of things. But somehow I felt accomplished having brought them all together. A goal achieved.
Alright, we're gonna go dig up some graves and hope for some gems.
I found a red gem, some frazzled wires, and a ghost.
Ghost battle! Ghost battle! Oh, there's another. This guy's back. I'm gonna be bold here. Come here, you loser. I'll kill your son as well. Ow! He's so fast. Get him, Abigail. Don't let him shoot at me. How do I catch this idiot? Ah, how do you dodge that crap?
And then, when he thought I'd left him be, I now had a second walrus tusk, so I investigated its uses, and apparently you can combine it with steel wool to make a brush, but I had no idea where to get steel wool. I went on a double wormhole journey on day 107, which took me up north where I continued my respectful grave digging shenanigans in this graveyard. I found 2 red gems, 1 nightmare fuel, some melty marbles, and
Life-giving amulet. You wear it as a chest piece. What does it resurrect you?
all that grave defiling had dropped my sanity down to 70, so I headed off to explore the north with my top hat and parasol. I feel like I'm saying this every 2 seconds, but some hounds arrived just as the dark part of night began, which is the worst timing possible. But Abigail went beast mode and took them all out. There wasn't too much to this northern area. It was a weird mixture of rocky and grassy parts.
So all I've got left to explore, by my reckoning, is got a little bit here, so I'll do that. And then it's just down here.
There was also a sneaky little area to the east, which I quickly checked out, and I did the run around in this forest. I headed back to my western base, the one with the shadow manipulator, because in my adventures I'd piled up enough stuff to make some magical items.
Telelocator staff. Cast spell. I think I need the focus. Oh, baby.
I assumed the staff would now teleport me back to the focus, but it wasn't working.
Just add gems? I'm confused. Oh, I've got lots more gems in here. I forgot. I might be able to do this right now.
It didn't want my red or blue gems, so I combined them into 3 purple gems.
Give. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Like, I know how this is going to work, right? It's going to teleport me there, so I don't want to waste charge on this.
And so I do not have a teleportation demonstration to show you just yet. I figured I'd go explore the rest of the map down south and use the staff when I was done for a quick trip back. But first,
give me a saddle. Ah! Oh no. No, I don't want to kill them all. I don't want to kill them all, Abigail.
After that failure to mount, I ended up killing these 2 furious beefalo.
Sorry guys, I just murdered both your parents. That's my bad. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, they got red bums, that's the problem. Okay, I'll come back when they don't have red bums.
And so I put the beefalo riding exercise on pause.
Instead of that, I will have an expedition. Oh dear. Oh dear, that is not good.
I began chopping down trees to try and stop the spread of flames, and lucky for me, the flames didn't spread to my chests, and somehow they didn't seem to bother my drying racks either.
Whew, I thought it was going to burn down my whole base. Okay, I need to make one of those lightning rod things.
I plonked one down here, and hopefully that'll protect the base from lightning ongoing. I made an ice staff and used it to whack this spider, but all it seemed to do was change his color, so I was unimpressed. The curse of the red bums seemed to have dissipated, so I made friends with this beefalo by giving it a bunch of grass.
Yes! It worked! He's fast. Look how fast he is. Oh my lord. Can I attack with this? Oh, he kicked me off. Why'd he kick me off? Can he eat monster meat? No, he doesn't like monster meat.
I fed him a bunch more grass and went for ride number 2.
This is so cool. I don't even know where I'm going. Let's just try to get as far as we can. Okay, so he dismounts you and then demands food. He demands food like the biggest things. He's following me though. Right, I'm gonna need lots of grass then.
10 grass didn't keep the big fella happy for very long at all, so I collected a bunch.
He runs over desperate for food. Alright, let's see how far we can get. On 9 grass.
He got me a decent distance away before throwing me off, and at a juicy pace. I fed him some more and made my way to the southern base. I left the beefalo behind to explore. Directly south was a forest where I whacked some spiders with my walking cane since my tentacle weapon was low durability, and some pig houses that I mercilessly hammered. And to the southwest, a forest and a piggy village. I dug some graves, killed some spiders, and demolished enough pig houses to get some juicy stacks of materials. The final area to explore was west of this little swamp, so I grabbed some reeds on the way, and while exploring, guess what? Some pesky hounds decided they were hungry.
The forest is burning down now. No, leave me alone. Go, Abigail. Abigail's owning. Oh, did they kill Abigail? Oh, they did. The forest continues to burn. Run, Chester. No. Oh, he died in the fire. I thought Chester was dead.
And with that glorious forest fire, I'd officially explored the entire map. And it was time to gear up for the final frontier, the caves. I filled my bags and whipped out my telelocator staff.
Ready? Teleporter staff. Cast spell. What? How come it still doesn't work?
So I was resigned to using the old school telelocators, also known as legs. On the way, I found a use for some of the crap I dug out of those graves.
What kind of stuff do you like? Do you like mismatched buttons? Give. He does like mismatched buttons. And he flew off. Wait, what? He gave me a feather as well. 7 dark petals for some buttons. It's so random.
So I don't know if that parrot will ever come back, and I don't know where he produced those evil flowers from, but why not? Also, I don't know where that saddled beefalo disappeared to. As you can see, I found the saddle lying on the floor. I can only assume he suffered a painful death, as is the norm in this game. By the way, I'd been throwing meatballs on to cook every time I was at a crock pot, because I'd been collecting plenty of monster meat and filler on my travels. So I had a growing stack of meatballs, not to mention a juicy stack in my bundling wrap too. So if you're wondering how my food situation was faring, it was good.
Oi! What are you doing on my base, you butthead?
I invited Abigail along to gouge some eyeballs. I also destroyed the tier 3 spider's nest as I didn't really want Big Mama spawning and ruining my day. I grew my stack of healing salves to 14 and made myself a fresh ham bat, before remembering to check what the deal was with my telelocator focus.
What? Why did the gems disappear? Yeah, I mean, that has to be some kind of bug. I would understand if they were used up because I used my staff, but I haven't used the staff. Look, it's at 100%. I don't know what to make of that.
So, due to reasons unknown, there will be no demonstration of the telelocator's prowess in this video, and rest in peace 3 purple gems. I got collecting in preparation for my journey into the caves.
Abigail is fighting like 52 pigs.
Also, the creepy music hand stole the flame from one of the pig tiki towers, which I thought was amusing, and the hounds decided they were hungry again. I ran around in circles like a goose for a bit and then fled, and only 3 of the hounds chased, apparently.
Get them, killer bees.
I finally took them down with my ham bat.
Goodness gracious me, that got a bit hairy.
I continued collecting, took out some stray dogs, and I claimed all these berries. I also hammered the tikis, and they yielded me a bunch of logs and manure.
Why is there manure in the pig things? Is that what they use to stick it together? I'm impressed.
It was finally time for a cheeky spelunk, and my plan was to set up a base in the depths.
Oh. What the heck? What? This is OP. I got a whole base here.
But I guess I won't need to make a new base because this one comes complete with farms, a fridge, and a tent. That seemed unusually lucky to me, but I wasn't going to argue.
What's this? Red mush tree. Oh, there's berries down here. What is that noise? Fern? What is that noise? Ooh. That's a big boy. What on earth?
It really is a whole new world down here. Fortunately, these rock lobsters didn't seem inclined to attack me. Before long, I learned what happened when night falls up in the overworld. Light stops leaking down through the sinkhole and total darkness consumes the caves. Coincidentally, my torch flickered out at the same time.
Oh crap. My torch is dying so fast.
And when these stupid bats started chasing me, I decided to bail. If I was going to explore down there properly, I needed a better light source. Torches burn way too fast, have a very poor circle of light, and obviously keep my hands occupied so I can't equip my walking cane or a weapon. Before I got too far towards solving this problem, some more hounds arrived. Seriously, what is it with these flamin' hounds? I lured them into a glorious melee with the beefy boys.
So many of them now. Absolutely bananas.
It was quite a glorious battle.
Night light? Light the night with your dreams.
I didn't have the nightmare fuel to give the nightlight a try, so I headed off to find some evil flowers. And on the way, I enjoyed some nostalgic coney collecting.
I haven't collected rabbits for a while. The good old days. This is the only food I knew how to make.
I tried to check in on our parrot friend too.
He's not back. Can I break this? Ooh, I bet you that wasn't worth.
And I picked enough evil flowers for 3 nightmare fuel from the spot that formerly hosted the ring thing.
My sanity is struggling. I think I might just have a snooze tonight.
After a solid 8 hours and a hearty double meatball breakfast, I paid the Pig King a visit, because I had some trash to give him in exchange for gold.
Oh, actually, I heard you can do this.
By this I mean feed pigs monster meat. I gave this fella 4.
Do they follow you? Oh no, they... I turned like into a psycho.
We took him out, and he dropped 2 meat and 1 pig skin, which is much better than a normal pig drops. I'm pretty sure they only drop 1 of either.
I can make a nightlight. Oh. Wait, what?
I'd been hoping it was a portable light, but it was in fact a light of the static variety.
Nightlight. At least now I have a bastion of light. That's gotta be something, right?
But it didn't solve my problem. I still had no reliable light source for while I was on the move. Also, I decided it wasn't placed properly, so I whacked it with my hammer and moved it slightly.
Now we attempt to make a portable light solution.
Except I got distracted moving the ground around with a pitchfork and placing down some wooden boards I crafted.
Ooh. Beautiful.
I also put down some checkered flooring.
What the heck? That's the weirdest checkered flooring I've ever seen. If we must do this dance yet again.
So I finally googled it, and these fellas attack every 3 to 13 days. But I swear I'm getting them on the low end of that day range. It feels like they are constantly bothering me. This particular attack was a little dicey, marking Abigail's end, and Chester did a whole bunch of taking too, but luckily he didn't die.
Maybe I should try and make this space beautiful. I mean, it's already objectively hideous with the random placement. Of everything.
It would be a fun challenge to make a sweet looking base in this game, but eyes on the prize, mate, the current goal is spelunkage into the caves. That night I followed the advice of the wiki and wandered out with a net to catch some fireflies, which was kind of sketchy as I had to put away my torch in order to swing the net, but fortunately it was a quick enough process that whatever lurks in the dark didn't have time to slap me dead. I managed to catch 4 fireflies before sunrise. This allowed me to make a miner hat out of a straw hat, gold, and 1 firefly. In fact, I went ahead and made 4 miner hats. I made another chest down here to store my overflowing collection of miner hats. I was assaulted by a rambunctious frog, and then I got on the move. Without the top hat on, my sanity drained, but I figured I could always return to the tent for a snooze once it got low.
Oh, rabbit hutch. Light bulb?
This biome was pretty funky, no doubt. There were no rabbits to be seen despite the hutch, so I guess no one was home.
When trying to figure out how to make this thing, I read that you can recharge it. How do I... Oh, okay, so those add a fair bit of fuel. Alright, so that's pretty handy.
And when full night came, I suddenly realized the nightlight was no longer a light.
Bro, is this thing useless?
So far, every magical item in this game has seemed janky to me. I don't know if that's a pre-DLC thing or I'm just a goose, but I was a little disappointed. As I headed out once more, the earth began to shake. Rocks fell from the roof of the cave, and I used my elite dodging skills to avoid a bonk on the noggin.
Oh, this big fella ate it.
At least the big weirdo got a nice meal out of that tremor. I collected some more light bulbs and chopped down one of the mushroom trees, and as you might expect, it dropped a mushroom cap.
It's a mandrake. What the heck? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Rest in peace, little weirdo. The next biome was reminiscent of upstairs, with pine trees and berries, and this area looked like the Savannah tile set. And over here, some paths to nowhere. By the way, it was really creepy down here if you haven't noticed.
What is this, huh? What is this? Oh! It disappeared?
I don't know what that was, but there didn't seem to be any way to interact with it, so I hope I didn't miss anything cool.
Let's see if these boulders give anything special.
Nope, just rocks. I continued exploring, and one thing I learned is that the cave system is fond of big paths to nowhere. I also enjoyed another friendly earthquake.
Why is this path to nowhere so long? Terrifying long paths to nowhere. This area is all explored. This isn't so bad. Bro, why are you guys hanging around my base so much? Just chill.
I headed east and mined some stalagmites, admired this big rocky pillar, endured yet another earthquake, these seem to happen every few minutes down here, and then I got into a battle with some bats further into the stalagmite biome.
Well, we've explored east, west, and north.
I had a snooze to get back some sanity, swapped out my dead battery miner helmet for a freshie, and continued my adventure.
Ooh, okay. Reeds? This is like swampy? Oh, it is. It's a swamp. Oh, I don't want to go into a swamp.
And as I wandered into this rabbity biome, everything went haywire.
Here we go. Oh, bunnies. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. What are these demon bunnies, dude? Please. Murderer? What did I do?
I didn't want to fight these 3 straight up, because A, I foolishly didn't have Abigail with me, and B, I couldn't put a football helmet on as I needed the light from my helmet. So I figured I'd run away and they'd lose interest eventually, because that's what usually happens in this game.
How long are they gonna chase me for? Leave me alone.
Yeah, so they weren't giving up the chase.
Yeah, fight the big fellas. Go on. Go on. You don't want to fight the big fellas? What do I do? Oh no. Go. Oh my gosh. Flip a dongle. Oh, now there's... why are those bunnies so violent? I'm gonna die.
Two things. I didn't realize it was winter already, so cold was an issue. And the flamin' hounds were ready to rumble. Of course they were.
I am dead. I am dead.
They ganged up on Chester first.
Chester's dead. No! Give me daytime. Give me daytime. How am I not dead yet? Please give me daytime.
What I should have been doing at this moment was luring the hounds as far away from my base as possible. But thanks to the chaos, I was not thinking very clearly.
I'm chilled to the bone. I'm dead. I'm actually dead.
My final touchstone was luckily very close, so I was able to get back to my base very quickly, where I found the hounds were in a glorious battle with some penguins. Penguins, after all this time, were my only hope of survival, but it wasn't to be.
No, 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 no. I should have picked up the life amulet. I thought I had it so well planned out, but I don't know, dude. It was a combination. I didn't realize it was winter already, so suddenly I'm freezing as soon as I leave the cave. I didn't realize there were going to be rabbits that never stop chasing you. I should have had Abigail ready.
There are a bunch of things I could have, should have, would have done better, both in preparation and during the crisis, but that's the way it goes. 131 days survived, and almost the entire map, including the caves, fully explored and exploited. I'll take it, I guess. But a moment of silence for that run. I really thought I was going to make it to the end. I unlocked some new characters, Wickerbottom the Librarian and Woody the Lumberjack, but it was Wagstaff the Cryptic Founder who took my fancy.
A great inventor, nearsighted, delicate stomach. I owe you guys 15 more days of this game.
And in these remaining days, I have one goal. Dive into the caves and wreck the home of a rabbit in vengeance for the crimes against me.
Oh no, everything's blurry.
Old mate had some spec toggles ready, so that helped get that vision back up to 2020. And you've seen this all before in my first few attempts, so I'll keep to the cliff notes. I collected on day 1 and found a touchstone. I destroyed multiple spiders' nests on day 2 and cracked some boulders as well. But I couldn't find any gold, so I was as yet unable to make a science machine. I kept on the move through the nights. I found a cave entry on day 3, the passage towards vengeance, and gold finally, with which I made a science machine and some tools. I destroyed more spiders' nests and a pig house too, before setting up a cook fire as this old fella doesn't cope with raw berries. He's got a delicate stomach. I also found Wagstaff's tinkering menu and made him a visor.
What the heck? That's kind of cool.
I made a telebrella too.
What the heck is the point of this?
And I never worked out the answer to that question. I continued plundering the various homes in the area. It was wonderfully destructive. I said hi to the Pig King, whacked down an alchemy machine, and then decided I wanted some darts to fight any rabbits I run into on my home wrecking quest. And the easiest darts to make are the fire ones, so I placed down a trap to try and catch some red birds. I wasted pretty much all of day 5 trying to kill pigs because I wanted meat for a ham bat. And I don't know what I was trying to do here, but I got chased by some bats while both my torch and health were low, and while I was trying to make a new torch, the bats killed me.
What? Oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah, so let's just pretend that didn't happen. I figured I needed a proper food solution, so I set up some traps by these frog ponds, and I burned trees for charcoal. I chucked a crockpot down and started cooking. You guessed it, meatballs.
Oh, my special vision can see the lurking threats. Cool.
I burned these evil flowers into ash and made some healing salves too. And that night I found another touchstone and I started catching fireflies. I got mobbed by an absolutely bonkers amount of frogs on day 8.
You little tongue away from me.
I found a delicious bounty of berries defended by one unlucky pig, and I caught 7 more fireflies. I solidified my food situation on day 9 as I chain captured these dingus frogs over and over. It was actually ridiculously overpowered, as you can easily lure them into the traps and they spawn like crazy. Even better, the traps yield frog legs, so you don't have to murder them. No naughtiness required. On day 10, I made some infro goggles.
Give me the infro goggles. Oh my gosh. It's the blue screen of death. I finally got back on track catching red birds, earning my first crimson feather. But I needed reeds in order to make the fire darts. I now had a stack of 11 meatballs, by the way. Frog legs OP. We're gonna get some fire darts, baby. This is the strat. I set up a little base next to the touchstone, including a couple of bird traps, and then I hit up the swamp over here for some reed collecting. And I gotta say, Einstein's goggles were very useful for avoiding the tentacles. I also began throwing boomerangs at any red birds I saw. And on this character, the boomerangs actually one-hit birds, so it was quite effective. I also now knew you hit spacebar to catch the boomerang, but you do have to time it, so I had varying success while I was getting the hang of it. And on day 12, with a stack of 5 fire darts, a miner's helmet, and a bunch of fireflies with which to refuel it, I headed into the caves. Oh, I might be unlucky. All right, vengeance is mine. Screw you! Catch on fire, you stupid rabbit! Where are you? I don't care. Get some. Ah, don't burn me. I need to switch on his. Where's my armor? Please burn to death. Please burn to death. Come back here, rabbit. He's afraid of me. Bunny puff. Yes! That's what you get for killing... What's it? I don't even know what my character's name was. And Abigail. Is it Wendy? For some reason that rabbit just wanted to sleep. Vengeance is mine! I explored the mine some more and found this terrifying enormous tentacle and an opportunity for more revenge. He just went beast mode. And by more revenge, I mean I died to a were-rabbit. Alright. That's right, Mr. Bunny. Alright, I think I'm done. So with that petty burning of the bunny puff, I was done with Don't Starve. I know I owe you 2 more days, but you'll get over it. Check out 100 Terrifying Days Deep in an Alien Ocean of Pants Poopage, featuring Shrimpy McSlap.